Nepal's government decides to procure 700,000 e-passports to address the ongoing passport shortage. Nepal marks 19 years since peace deal, but transitional justice still elusive. Nepal to invest 3 billion rupees for joint venture for cross-border transmission lines with India. Nepal and the world marks World Television Day, organizing various programs. Explosion at a glue-making factory in Pakistan kills at least 16 people and injuries. 7 sparking fire in nearby homes. Pokhara Avengers chasing target of 194 in a match against Super Pashchim Royals under Nepal Premier League Season 2. I am April Singlama and this is NTV World Primetime News, coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours. Across the globe, it's 1:15 p.m. in London, 10:15 p.m. in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in detail. Nepal's government is to procure 700,000 e-passports from the existing supplier to address the ongoing passport shortage. The decision was made at the cabinet meeting held today at Singadarbar. Government spokesperson and Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Jagadish Kharel, informed that the Cabinet has authorized the Department of Passports to purchase the passports through a variation order with the current supplier. The arrangement will remain in place until new procurement procedures are completed and fresh passports can be issued. The government moved to make this interim purchase after facing shortages following the cancellation of its previous contract with a French company, which has also been considered for interim supply until a new agreement is finalized.
विद्युतीय राजधानी हालको आपूर्तिकर्ता कम्पनीसँग भेरिएसन आदेशबाट खरिद गर्न राजधानी विभागलाई स्वीकृति प्रदान गर्ने निर्णय भएको छ। उपभोक्ता अदालत र बाल अदालतको संगठन संरचना तथा दरबन्दी तेरिज स्वीकृत गर्ने निर्णय भएको छ।
Meanwhile, the Cabinet has approved a proposal for Energy Secretary Chiranjeevi Chataut to lead Nepal's delegation to the 7th meeting of the Nepal-Bangladesh Joint Working Group and Joint Steering Committee on Energy Cooperation. The meetings are scheduled to take place in Dhaka, Bangladesh on Mongshir 10 and 11. The government has appointed Deepak Shrestha as Member Secretary of the Lumini Development Trust and the Lumini Development Council. Now, moving on, President Ramchandra Paudel has issued an ordinance to amend the Nepal's Special Services Act 2042, bringing the investigation department back under the Home Ministry. The President made the move as per Article 114, Clause 1 of the Constitution of Nepal that allows the President to issue ordinances when Parliament is not in place. The move comes acting upon the Council of Ministers' recommendation to amend the law. The Cabinet meeting had on 18th November decided to recommend to the President to issue an ordinance to amend the Nepal's Special Services Act 2042. Now, moving on to other updates here, Nepal has closed voter registration for upcoming parliamentary election. Today was the final day for registering names in Nepal's voter list, with hundreds of citizens submitting their applications. The Election Commission of Nepal is preparing for the House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5, 2026. The Commission says the updated voter list will be published on 6th December on the Commission's official website. Citizens have been advised to check their details once the list is released. In case of errors or complaints, voters may file corrections or objections between December 7 to 17. The Commission has also decided that the cut-off date for this purpose is March 4, 2026 for those who will complete 18 years of age by the date. Now, despite legal provisions in Nepal's constitution for proportional women participation in all state bodies, women continue to face significant challenges in reaching leadership roles, particularly in politics. The constitution adopted in 2015 guarantees women's representation, yet their presence at decision-making levels remains minimal. For instance, among the 6,743 ward chair positions, only 69 are held by women, which is just over 1%. At the local level, women hold leadership in only 3.3%. Political analysts suggest that informal political networks, which often play a pivotal role in decision-making, are not supportive of women's leadership. While Nepal has seen women hold high office, including as President, Deputy Speaker, Prime Minister and Chief Justice, experts argue that these positions do not always lead to effective advocacy for women's rights. Professor Dr. Lokras Barao points out that despite legal guarantees, women in politics often prioritize external pressures over the advancement of gender equality. Experts emphasize that although the number of women in the federal and provincial parliaments has reached 33%, more work is needed to ensure their voices are heard at every level of governance. They call for stronger advocacy and grassroots movements to empower women in decision-making roles. It has been 19 years since the government signed a peace deal with rebel forces to end a decade-long armed conflict in Nepal. The comprehensive peace agreement was signed between the government and then Maoist forces on 21 November 2006 to end the armed conflict that saw thousands of lives lost over the period of 10 years. The peace agreement also paved the way for the then rebel forces, the Maoists, to join the mainstream politics of Nepal. The end of the conflict deal had mainly three mandates to complete the Nepal's peace process: adoption of federalism and constitution making, army integration and arms movement, and delivering justice to the victims by forming a transitional justice mechanism. Among these, delivering justice to the victims are left undone during these 17 years. Almost 80,000 complaints filed till now. The government has formed twin commissions, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and Commission for Investigation of Disappeared Persons. On the day Nepal marks 19 years since the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Accord, conflict victims states sit in protest in Kathmandu, accusing the Truth and Reconciliation Commission (TRC) and the Commission of Investigation on Enforced Disappeared Persons (CIEDP) of failing to support survivors and deliver justice. Symbolic demonstrations were held outside the offices of both commissions, where victims expressed deep frustration that justice has remained out of reach nearly 2 decades after the end of the armed conflict. Protesters demand the registration of officials from both transitional justice bodies, saying the institution lack credibility and have excluded victims from the justice process. Ram Bhandari, representing the all conflict victims community and the survivors, have lost trust in the commissions and called for their complete reorganization to ensure the representation of real victims. The protests coinciding with the 19th anniversary of Nepal's peace accord highlight persistent dissatisfaction over the country's long-delayed transitional justice process. Now, Nepal's electricity authority will invest 3 billion rupees, approximately $21 million to establish a joint venture with India's Power Grid Corporation for the construction of 2 key Nepal-India cross-border transmission lines. The announcement was made by Nepal's Ministry of Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation today. Of the total investment, 1 billion rupees will be allocated to the joint venture registered in Nepal, while 2 billion will be injected into the venture to be established in India as equity. The NEA will fund the investment entirely from its internal financial resources. The joint venture will oversee the development of the Inarwa-Purnia transmission line in eastern Nepal and northeastern India, and the Dodhara-Bareilly line linking far western Nepal with northern India. These two are strategic cross-border corridors that are vital for expanding regional electricity trade and strengthening energy connectivity between Nepal and India. This is NTV World and you're watching Primetime News. Lined up is a short break. Welcome back. Today, November 21, Nepal joins the world in observing World Television Day, a day designated by the United Nations to recognize television's contribution to communication, education, entertainment, and public awareness. The day has been celebrated since 1997, following the first World Television Forum in 1996, to honor the medium's role in delivering impactful messages through both sight and sound. Television's history dates back to the 1930s, with the BBC launching the first regular broadcast in London in 1936, gradually replacing radio as the primary source of information and storytelling. In Nepal, television officially started with the establishment of Nepal Television, NTV, on March 17, 2041 BS, early 1985 AD, with regular broadcasts beginning in 2042 BS, which is 1986 AD. Since then, television in Nepal has played a pivotal role in education, culture, politics, and entertainment, providing viewers with both information and visual storytelling. World Television Day serves as a reminder of TV's continuing impact in connecting communities and shaping public discourse globally. Now, as we mark World Television Day, let's take a look at how many television channels are currently registered and licensed in Nepal, highlighting the country's growing media landscape and the vital role TV plays. Vijeta Bhandari comes up with this infographics.
Television continues to play an important role in Nepal, but how many channels are there today? And how has the industry grown? According to the Department of Information and Broadcasting, the television sector continued to expand in 2024-25. 4 new TV licenses were issued this year, bringing the total number of television licenses to 249. And when it comes to regular transmission, the department lists 109 televisions, including 3 new regular TV transmissions added this year. But television today is much broader than traditional broadcasting. In the IPTV category, Internet-based television services, Nepal now has 17 licenses issued so far. For analog cable TV, licenses have reached 853, showing the long-running spread of cable networks in the country. Digital cable, which offers higher quality and more efficient transmission, has 14 licenses issued to date, showing a gradual shift towards digital distribution. In the case of DTH or direct-to-home satellite service, Nepal has issued 3 licenses in total, providing coverage especially where cable infrastructure is difficult or expensive to install. And for digital terrestrial television or DTTV, Nepal has issued 7 licenses so far. DTTV is a key part of the country's longer-term roadmap toward full digital migration. In total, these numbers show a television ecosystem that is no longer limited to a single platform, but one that spans cable, satellite, IPTV, and digital terrestrial broadcasting, shaping how Nepali audiences watch and stay informed.
A 2-day negotiation has led to an agreement between the Nepal government and local residents to end the blockage of waste disposal at the Bachandrarendana landfill in Nuakot, which serves as a key waste processing facility for the Kathmandu Valley. The dispute began when locals obstructed the transportation of waste, citing unmet government promises for compensation and infrastructure development. Located just north of Kathmandu, Nuakot is a rural district that has long voiced concerns about the environmental and social impacts of the landfill. The 11-point agreement signed on Thursday includes commitments for compensation to be distributed within a month, withdrawal of legal cases filed against protesters, and an immediate environmental impact assessment of the site. Local grievances, particularly from concerned local levels, have also been addressed with promises for increased financial support and infrastructure development, including road improvements. The agreement paves the way for the resumption of waste disposal, which had been halted, affecting the daily removal of 300 trucks of waste. Now, Nepal Pharmaceutical Limited, which currently produces only 11 types of medicines, is preparing to add 9 more products within the next month, the company has announced. Once operating profitably with a portfolio of 140 medicines, the state-owned company has faced financial challenges in recent years due to political interference and weak administrative management, which limited its production, to just 11 medicines. According to the management, the company plans to increase its product line to 20 medicines by producing the additional 9 drugs starting next month. The first phase of 3 months of testing for the new products has been successfully completed, and the company is preparing for a second 6-month testing phase. In Nepal, pharmaceutical manufacturers are required to complete an initial 3-month trial followed by a 6-month trial before commercial production. Now, the week-long Sitaram Bibaha Panchami festival has officially begun in Janakpur, a city of religious and historical significance. Head priest of the Janaki temple, Mahantaram Roshan Das, said the preparations for the festival have been completed. As in previous years, the Janaki Mandir has been beautifully decorated to resemble a wedding mandap for the celebrations. Security arrangements have also been strengthened to ensure the safety of visitors and participants. The temple management confirmed that preparations from temple cleaning, construction of pavilions, decorative lights and stage setup to arrangements for cultural programs have been completed for the festival. The festival schedule includes a series of events, while on the Wednesday the auspicious wedding rituals will be held. Mahantas noted that Hindu devotees from India's Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, as well as from all over Nepal are expected to attend the festival and participate in the rituals. We're going for a short break and we'll come back with the updates from the international front. Do stay tuned. An explosion at a glue-making factory in Pakistan has killed at least 16 people and injured 7 after it collapsed the factory and sparked fires in nearby homes, Pakistani media are reporting. The blast occurred at about 5 a.m. local time on Friday in the Malikpur area of Faisalabad, west of Lahore in Punjab province. Preliminary investigations showed a gas leak inside the factory's chemical warehouse triggered in the explosion. Authorities arrested the factory manager but were still searching for the owner, who fled shortly after the incident. Now, a powerful earthquake has struck Bangladesh outside the crowded capital of Dhaka, killing at least 3 people, according to health officials. The magnitude 5.5 earthquake struck at 10:38 a.m. local time near the city of Narsingdi, about 33 kilometers from Dhaka, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The shaking lasted for 26 seconds, with its epicenter in Narsingdi's Mahadabadi district, according to the Bangladesh Meteorological Department, which recorded the magnitude as 5.7. The earthquake terrified residents, with many in the Muslim majority nation of 170 million people at home on their day off. Now, relentless rains and floods have killed at least 41 people in central Vietnam since the weekend, while a search continues for 9 still missing, state media reports. The deluge has submerged more than 52,000 homes and left 500,000 households and businesses without power, according to reports. Tens of thousands of residents have been evacuated from the flood-affected regions. Rainfall has exceeded 1.5 meters in several areas over the past 3 days, even rising beyond the 1993 flood peak of 5.2 meters in some parts. Extreme weather has battered Vietnam in recent months. 2 typhoons, Kalmegi and Boaloy, left a trail of deaths and destruction within weeks of each other. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is ready for honest work with the U.S. after receiving a draft peace plan to end the war with Russia. Several U.S. media outlets report that under the plan, Kyiv would give up areas of the Donbass in eastern Ukraine that it still controls, cut the size of its army, and pledge not to join NATO. It was unclear how involved Ukraine has been in drafting the plan, but White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the U.S. had engaged equally with both sides. In a separate statement, Zelensky's office said that Ukraine had agreed to work on the plan's provisions in a way that would bring about a just end to the war. According to a draft of the plan, Ukraine's military will be limited to 600,000 personnel, but European fighter jets will be stationed in Poland. It stated that Kyiv will receive reliable security guarantees, although further details are not given. Moving on, days after announcing a shake-up of UK asylum law, the country's Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood released proposed changes to the routes for settling in the UK, also known as settlement, indefinite leave to remain or ILR. Under the proposed changes, high earners and entrepreneurs would qualify in 3 years, some in 5 years, while the default would be 10 years, with some individuals having to wait 20 or even 30 to settle. Changes to the law along the proposed lines will impact tens of thousands of Indians, who have been the largest group of non-EU long-term migrants to the UK since at least 2019. The Labour government of Keir Starmer had already announced that it would run a public consultation on a new contributions-based system for ILR, at the heart of which is a doubling of the default qualifying period from 5 to 10 years. The consultation, which began on Thursday, is open until February 12. The government called it the biggest shake-off of the legal migration system in nearly half a century. Now we'll go for another short break here. Coming up next are more from the international fronts. Now, at an eel restaurant near Tokyo, 4 friends sit down to eat a Japanese delicacy, now the subject of a heated international debate as its numbers decline. The eel, hugely popular across Japan, is also endangered and will be discussed at a key global forum that regulates trade of threatened wildlife starting in Uzbekistan on Monday. The cost of unagi grilled eel over rice has more than doubled in recent years, driven by the severe decline of Japanese eel populations, which scientists classify as endangered. Environmental pressures, including habitat destruction, pollution, and the damming of the rivers, have compounded the problem, but the largest concern centers on the dwindling supply of glass eels, the juvenile fish essential for aquaculture. Japan's glass eel catch is now less than 10% of what it was in the 1960s. Now, Nigeria's Benin City is home to the historic Guild of Benin Bronze Casters, where artists continue to honor the age-old craft and preserving a centuries-old tradition of lost wax casting. Bronze caster Kelly Omadumwen says he continues his work of his ancestors, driven by a desire to pass the skill to future generations. The guild, deeply rooted in lineage, remains exclusive to descendants of a few original families, and its members lament that many younger people are leaving and raw materials are becoming prohibitively expensive. Meanwhile, the city is also at the center of the broader cultural conservation. Benin bronzes, many of which were looted during the 1897 British expedition, are gradually being repatriated from European museums. Researchers collect samples from a huge spider web discovered in Sulphur Cave on the Albania-Greece border. The web, spanning an area exceeding 100 square meters, is home to some 111,000 spiders, including approximately 69,000 house spiders and more than 42,000 Prenarigon vagans dwarf, according to a study published in October after researchers made multiple trips to the cave. The discovery is the first recorded instance of colonial wave formation of two species that are normally solitary. Time now for sports update. Pokhara Avengers are struggling in their chase of 194, currently at 25 for 3 after 6 overs in the Nepal Premier League. They face a daunting task requiring 169 runs from 84 balls, with the required run rate climbing to 12.07. Kushal Bhurto is at the crease with 6 runs off 11 balls, while James Neeson has scored 2 off 6. Harmeet Singh has been the pick of the bowlers, claiming 2 wickets for just 11 runs in 3 overs. With the run rate far below the target, Pokhara face an uphill battle to get back into the contest. So far, Pokhara Avengers has posted 122 runs at the loss of 5 wickets. The match started at 4 p.m. TU International Cricket Ground in Kirtipur and is being played under floodlights installed for the second season of NPL 2025. Forty-two teams have been qualified for the 2026 World Cup so far, with 6 more places up for grabs at next summer's 40-team tournament. Among those who have booked their place already are Curaçao, with the Caribbean island becoming the smallest nation for the World Cup. Curaçao will join holders Argentina and home nations England and Scotland at the tournament, which is taking place across 3 nations: USA, Canada and Mexico, from June 11 to July 19. It will be the biggest yet, with 48 nations taking part, 16 more than in Qatar 2022. There are 6 spots still to be decided, and 4 of those will be taken by European teams via UEFA's playoffs. Wales, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland are all in the running to qualify via the route in March. More on that to come below. The other 2 remaining places at the World Cup will be taken by teams from the other confederations, with Iraq, DR Congo, Bolivia, Jamaica, New Caledonia and Suriname battling for the chance to qualify via the 2 interconfederation paths. Now, before winding up, a quick recap of the headlines. Nepal decides to procure 700,000 e-passports to address the ongoing passport shortage. 19 years passed since the comprehensive peace accord, but transitional justice still elusive. Nepal to invest 3 billion rupees in joint venture for cross-border transmission lines with India. World Television Day being observed across the globe, recognizing television's contribution to communication, education and public awareness. Explosion at a glue-making factory in Pakistan kills at least 16 people and injures 7, sparking fires in nearby homes. And Pokhara Avengers stays in target of 194 in a match against the Pashchim Royals on the Nepal Premier League Season 2. That is all from NTV World Primetime News for now. Our next bulletin will be at 10 p.m., bringing you the latest updates from Nepal and around the globe. Do join us through our social media. You can also get the latest updates from our official website, www.nepaltelevision.com. I am April Singh Lama. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
AI brings in a lot of augmentation and efficiency gains, which will not necessarily replace the human, but produce a lot more efficient human, almost like a superhuman, where the person will be able to do more jobs in less amount of time. And that efficiency gains could impact overall economic output, which could then generate a lot more new kind of jobs.
Will they be a misfit in near future?
More and more people should learn how to use some of these tools, because if you don't use it, I don't know if misfit is the word, but you will be left behind.
After around 7 hours drive from federal capital Kathmandu comes Dhunche Bazar, the district headquarters of Rashwa. Further ahead from Dhunche, demographically and ethnic mix, we reach Kerung custom point along Nepal-China border. However, we are headed to another destination. We are going to Gosai Kunda, a beautiful pilgrimage situated 4,380 meters above the sea level, and a perfect mix of adventure and spiritualism. Our trek begins from this very place. With excitement and energy alike, our journey to Gosai Kunda starts from Dhunche Bazar. This is a famous religious tourism site, especially twice a year on Janai Purnima and Ganga Dasara fair in Jesta. Thousands of devotees throng this holy place. The first 1 hour of the trek up to Ghatte Khola is largely straight. This is where pilgrims take a tea break and some rest to prepare themselves for the uphill walk. There's a mini Gosai Kunda here as well. Uphill walk through the pine forest and natural diversity continues as we approach few lodges on the way. After nearly about 2 hours of trek, we reach Deurali. Another resting place for pilgrims and trekkers. Sip of tea in this freezing weather is a luxury these small hotels offer. This is also a well-known viewpoint to see the southern districts. The tharpus or shelters built and preserved by the Gosai Kunda Area Development Committee are found almost everywhere on the way. With more excitement than fatigue, the journey continues from Diwali. It's still a long way, and it's difficult to reach our destination today itself. Fatigue is visible on the faces of these travelers. In an hour or so, we reach Dingsa. This is a junction of Gosai Kunda with another route mixing here. Tharpus and light snacks are available here as well. The trail, though uphill, is not very difficult. The natural beauty of the area, mild weather, and many travelers make the arduous journey much easier. Chandanbari is the next place after about an hour's walk. This is a small but beautiful hamlet for tourists. Cozy but clean and hygienic hotels are found here. Many tourists travel up to Chandanbari even at times other than the two famous religious fairs take place. The oldest yak cheese production factory of Dairy Development Corporation is here. Even the trekkers take a test of the famous yak cheese produced in Chandanbari. The yak herds also make the environment exciting. Many travelers who cannot bear the fatigue anymore take overnight stop here and head to Gosai Kunda the next morning. The place is also known as Singh Monastery, named after the ancient monument itself. The uphill trek continues from Chandanbari for another 2 hours up to Cholangpati. This place, renowned for yak farming and traders, is another stop on the way. Though few tourists are also seen here, yak farmers often gather in monsoon season here. The typical Himalayan lifestyle, cylindrical pine trees and the cold weather greet the travelers. Many temporary structures are set up by local administration, Nepal Army, police among others, along the way during the annual Gosaikunda Fair to provide free health care and first aid services to travelers. After another 2 hours walk, we reach the Loribina area. Those who can walk faster take overnight stop at this place that has plenty of hotels. This is the perfect place to enjoy nature and its beauty. The view of mountain peaks including Ganesh, Manasalu, Langtang and some across the border in China and Dhunche Bazaar is a treat to the eyes. The idol of Lord Buddha greets trekkers at this place. The trail also gets a bit less difficult with almost no more uphill walk. Legend has it that the place got its name Loribina, meaning free of walking sticks, as travelers discard their walking stick at the end of the uphill climb here. The same walking stick is again brought back while returning from the pilgrimage. Another 2 hours facile walk takes us to Ganesh Gonga. From where the revered Vairav and Saraswati Kunda or lakes become visible. The very sight of the holy water of the ponds rejuvenates every traveler. One of the specialities of Ganesh Kunda is the idol of Lord Ganesh and the tailless mice or the moles known as the ride of Lord Ganesh are seen roaming freely. Gosai Kunda is just 15 minutes walk from this place. The pond, measuring 4 square kilometers in width and 19.2 meters in depth, is the common holy site for both Hindus and Buddhists. Devotees offer prayers at the temple after taking a holy dip in the freezing water of the pond. Twice a year during Jani Purnima and Dasarma fairs, Hindu and Buddhist devotees throng the holy site. The pond is the origin of the mighty Trisuli river. A little further is the Trishul Dhara, or a fountain with its own anecdote. Legend has it that Lord Shiva, after drinking the Kalkut poison, held it in his neck. After holding the poison in his neck, Lord Shiva started roaming around in immense pain and thirst. The fountain was formed here when Lord Shiva struck his trident to quench his thirst. The fountain is the source of water for the ponds here. Lord Shiva is believed to have laid flat on the ground here after drinking the water. As per the legend, this happened on the day of Janai Purnima. Thus comes the popular belief that Lord Shiva still visits this place on the day of Janai Purnima along with other deities. The river Trishuli also got its name as it originated from the place where the Lord had struck with his Trisul, or the trident. Devotees throng this place during Janai Purnima. The atmosphere is lightened by various pageantries, including cultural shows during the fair. A few hotels can be found here for those who want to make an overnight stop. However, many try to avoid staying here due to fears of altitude sickness. Nevertheless, medical camps are adequately set up for emergencies during the fair. Special paid horse ride service is also available for those who can't walk. There are 3 different routes to reach Gosaikunda. One is the Kathmandu Chisapani Ghopte Suryakunda route. Another route is via Rasua's Langtang Tulu Safru Gosaikunda. And of course, the route via Dhonche of Rasua, which we travelled, is probably the shortest and the easiest of them all. This route is 3 to 4 days walk from Dhonche, depending on the individual's speed. Travellers can choose 2 different routes to and fro Gosaikunda to spice up their adventure. The revered Gosaikunda at 4,380 meters above the sea level in Gosaikunda rural municipality of Rasua district and inside Langtang National Park is a must-go destination for any avid traveller. Ask anyone who has been there. It is indeed a lifetime experience.
रामदी मेरो गाउँको नाम। धर्म, संस्कृति, सुन्दरता र शिक्षाको एउटा सुन्दर सम्मिश्रण पाइन्छ यहाँ, जुन अरु कतै बिरलै पाइन्छ।
My name is Paradasi. I'm born in Susan. I'm from Bhutan. Now I'm living in Ramdi. I'm very happy to learn.
अति महत्त्वपूर्ण र पवित्र मानिने काली गण्डकी नदीको शीतल काखमा बसेको छ रामदी। स्याङ्जा र पाल्पा जिल्लाको केन्द्रमा पर्ने हुनाले रामदीबाट यी 2 जिल्लाका मनमोहक पहाडहरू र ससाना सुन्दर बस्तीहरू देख्न सकिन्छ। शालिग्राम नाम गरेको चम्किलो ढुङ्गा पाइने संसारकै एकमात्र काली गण्डकी नदीमा अंगिरा र वशिष्ठ नदीहरू मिसिदा बन्ने त्रिवेणीको विशेष महत्त्व छ। यस त्रिवेणीमा हरिबोधिनी एकादशी, शिवरात्रि र वैशाख संक्रान्तिका पावन अवसरमा लाग्ने विशेष मेलाहरूमा सामेल हुन पाइन्छ। रामदीमा काली गण्डकी नदी अद्भुत तरिकाले दक्षिणबाट उत्तर भई बहने उत्तर वाहिनी भएको हुँदा यस क्षेत्रको छुट्टै धार्मिक र आध्यात्मिक महत्त्व रहेको जानकारहरू बताउँछन्। यो क्षेत्र प्रसिद्ध ऋषिहरू वशिष्ठ, मार्कण्डेय, कपिलदेव र योगी नरहरिनाथको पवित्र तपोभूमि हो। योगी नरहरिनाथले 2042 सालमा गायत्री मन्त्रबाट विश्व शान्तिका लागि कोटी हवन गरेको यो ऐतिहासिक स्थलमा प्रसिद्ध ऋषि कपिलले सिद्धि प्राप्त गरेको सुनसिद्ध गुफाले आज पनि धार्मिक तथा रमणीय पर्यटकहरूको मन लोभ्याइरहेको छ। यस गुफाको सुरुङ साँघुरो भएकाले र अन्त्य पत्ता नलागेकाले यो थप आकर्षणको केन्द्र बनेको छ।
यहाँ एक स्टेप हुन्छ त्यहाँ अर्को स्टेप हुन्छ त्यहाँ तल्लो अलि अर्को ठुलो स्टेप 1500 जना अट्ने ठाउँ छ तल
रामदीमा थुप्रै पर्यटकीय स्थलहरू छन्। यहाँ रहेका गायत्री मन्दिर, राधाकृष्ण मन्दिर, शिव मन्दिर आदि धार्मिक आस्थाका केन्द्रहरू हुन्। सँगै रहेको गौशालामा केही समय टहल्दा पर्यटकहरूलाई बेग्लै आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ। रामदीको प्रमुख आकर्षण त्यहाँ रहेको राम नदी आश्रम हो। यो आश्रममा आध्यात्म, संस्कार, कला, शिक्षा र नयाँ पुस्ता बीचको आनन्दमय सहकार्य देख्न सकिन्छ। संस्कृत भाषामा दखल राखेका नयाँ पुस्ताको योग भजन कीर्तन मात्र नभई अंग्रेजी भाषामा पकड राख्ने र पुराना भजनदेखि नयाँ गीतहरूको गायनले आश्रम घुम्न जाने हर कोहीलाई चकित र मन्त्रमुग्ध बनाइदिन्छ। यसरी प्रकृतिको कोख र नदीहरूको काखमा बसेको रामदीमा हर कोहीलाई आकर्षित र अचम्मित गर्ने धेरै अद्भुत कुराहरू रहेका छन्।
Hello and welcome to NTV World Insight. Now, every day millions of people fight invisible battles, moments of quiet panic in a crowd, the weight of grief carried with a smile, the constant noise of self-doubt, or the exhaustion that comes from pretending to be okay. There are struggles with anxiety, depression, trauma, burnout, and even loneliness in a hyper-connected world. And because they are invisible, they are often misunderstood, minimized, or left untreated in silence, in memory, in the spaces between thoughts. Now, our guest today has dedicated his life to understanding those quiet wars. He has spent his life decoding the most complex thing in the universe, not outer space, but inner space. He is a leading neuropsychiatrist, a researcher, a healer, and a voice for mental well-being in Nepal and beyond. From trauma to transformation, his work asks one profound question: how does the human mind find light after darkness? Please welcome Dr. Sudarshan Narsingh Pradhan. Welcome, Dr. Pradhan.
Namaste.
Now, recently, mental health awareness has been the topic in every social media, in news platform, everywhere. But why do people still suffer in silence?
Actually, what is the thing that people think that this is not an illness. This is the real taboo. And when they are perceiving societal problem, especially they used to perceive the physical symptoms like palpitation. It's the anxiety case. If you see that anxiety case, what they perceive that they used to have a palpitation, they have a headache, they have a shortness of breath, they have a difficulty in breathing. These are the issues they used to come. And what really problem is, they usually land up in a not to psychiatrist, they go to in a different specialty. Especially when they feel they are having a palpitation, they used to go to cardiologist. And when they are having some buzzing sounds in the air, they used to go to ENT surgeon. So these all are actually the cause of anxiety. And the cause of anxiety, the background, if you see, there must be some stress factors. The stress factor may be different kinds of stress factors. Stress means that the people may have a difficulties in their financial aspect. Maybe they are having a difficulties in domestic problem, maybe difficulties in education problem, especially in a student life. These are the issues which they are not able to tackle and not able to solve.
So
and
these are trauma responses.
Yeah. And these are the responses toward the psychological phenomena causing those symptoms. But actually, when they get all the checkups, they don't find anything. Like if you do the ECGs and X-rays and the blood parameters, everything will be normal. But they feel that there is no any problem. That actually this is not the physical illness, but actually it is a psychological illness. That is really causing a really problematic. This is what issue. And in those conditions, what will happen? They will be wandering around with many doctors, many physicians, many other super specialties. But actually, if they could find it out, what is the real problem behind that? Before coming to us, they are relying to in a different specialty. This is really a big issues current in a current scenario.
So what happens when the brain experiences these kind of traumas? Like, is it like a movie, or is it like a scar that stays and burns? How does the brain feel?
Well, actually, it's the scar is not in the outside. The scar, the problem, the misery, the conflict, that was in their mind. I'll give you one example. There is a husband and wife is there, and the husband is alcoholic. And he used to take alcohol day to night, from morning to day, and even the evening time, daily. There is no responsibilities of the homework and nothing. And what the suffering is the wife. Wife used to suffer with it. She had to see all the things, the households and the children and everything. Right. Even the husband is not earning properly. And with that, beside that, the husband also becoming abusive, and the physical assault, and these are the issues become. And the wife, with this handling this type of situation, she used to have a lot of problems with this then. And that's why she will have a lot of insomnia. She is always scared of the husband coming in the home, that she may be feeling that he will beat me, or he will do all the nuisance, and he will make a lot of problems. So what will happen to that lady whose husband is an alcoholic? And that issues are very, very common, especially in our scenario. Right. And not only in rural areas, in urban areas also, these issues are very, very common. And with that, you can see that that woman, that's why she will be suffering in a depression, she will having anxiety, and sometimes even the post-traumatic stress disorder. But even her voices become so low, right, that she is not able to go outside and tell that the husband is doing this thing. Right. Even the husband beat her and make a lot of bruises and everything. She will go to hospital, she will go to another physician and tell that I fell down. She never used to say that my husband beat me. So you see that this type of things happen, and on the background, this the ongoing stress she is perceiving. With that, she will have a lot of this mental issues will become, and she is not able to tackle these things. She becomes lonely. She cannot get any proper help. This is one small scenario, right, that I told you.
So these are the cases of violence and trauma. And there's a saying, when people go through bad experiences, time heals all wounds. But does time really heal the wound that's in your brain, or does the brain just happen to hide it better?
No, actually, time will heal her. But the thing is that if she gets a proper treatment, this is the more important part. They have to be brought to us and then see that what are the reasons. Especially we will find it out, but in my experience I can see that when the patient see that we make her tell her stories.
Yes.
Initially, they don't want to reveal it in detail because this is really a big issue for her, and she doesn't want to make it become a taboo, it become a prestigious issue, and that's why she is not coming up. And immediately she will not tell this thing. While talking gradually, what will happen? She started shedding tears, and then after, what is the reason behind that? And she has a lot of traumatic experiences, and she will tell all these things. With shedding tears, she will be telling that these are the issues. And then after, the problem is that after giving some pills, she will not be revealed. She will not be cured. But the problem is the husband, to whom maybe he is having alcoholic and he is having a mental issues also. With that, he need a proper treatment. So you can see that not only one woman getting treatment, but also the causing the husband becoming alcoholic, that he also need some proper treatment, so that the people both in the family, they will get a proper solution with that.
Right. So Dr. Pradhan, from your experience and expertise, what kind of mental health issues or challenges people come with, and does it differ from age groups, or is it similar to maybe one gender or one community, or is it from a different background?
Oh, there are many more issues that I have been experiencing with this. I can see that I told you that one stigma is attached with this.
Right.
And besides that, the violence, I've just now told about these things, the domestic violence are very much common. And besides that, the incest and the rape issues to the younger child, especially in rural areas, especially in the western part of Nepal. I can see I've been involved in some NGOs, and they are bringing the young children coming from there. These are the issues also, very burning issues with the rape case and all these domestic violences to the younger children, especially to the young child around 12, 13 years. These are the issues. Even not only that, with this I can see that the post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression is very, very common. This is also issues that I have been finding. And beside that, the suicide is also another issues that we have been finding out. Especially a suicide is an attempted suicide. That it's mostly in the hospital cases. In Nepalese scenario, we can see that attempted suicides are almost each and every day around 50 to 60 persons attempting suicide in a various way. Some people may jump from height, taking a poison, sometimes caught injuries. These are the issues that usually come to the emergency department.
Is this because of PTSD, like you said?
One thing is not only the PTSD. I'm talking about not only the PTSD. There is another issues like depression. Depression is also one of the principal cause of attempting suicide, and not only the depression, and also the bipolar illness and the schizophrenia, alcohol abuse, the drug abuse. These all are the issues behind the attempting suicide. This is the thing. These issues are very, very common.
So how do you know if someone needs medication or is just talking enough?
They have to be brought by any visitors, family members, friends, any person they have to do, because they can see that there are some issues with this problem. Maybe having insomnia, or maybe having some anxiety issues. The behavior changes. I can say that in one word, their behavior changes, which is not accepted by the society. This is the reason. That means that his or her behavior in the society, which is sometimes not normal. This is totally in a different way. They are talking in a differently. They are behaving in a differently. This attempted suicide is one of the behavior change. Staying almost in a room, a locked room, not interacting with the people, and especially in the children, their academic performance is decreased. So these all are the issues where the mental health will evoke over there, and then we need to see what are the really problems.
Right. So if two people experience the same kind of traumatic experience, and maybe one might develop PTSD, but the other one does not, is it because of upbringing? Is it biology, or is it just mysterious?
No, actually, what is the PTSD is the diagnostic criteria in the PTSD. What we see is the person used to experience in such a devastating condition where she or he almost used to experience the death issue. Now I am going to die. This type of issues, feeling will occur in that traumatic experience. That may be earthquake, that may be flood, that may be threatening behavior. These all are the issues. Especially you can see that especially war zones like in Gaza and Palestine and in Ukraine, these were war places. In those conditions, you can find these PTSD is very, very common.
Do you think sleep, diet, or even digital platforms, social media, are the reason to anxiety or some symptoms of similar mental disorders?
Well, definitely it is. There's a social media, excessive seeing in a social media, excessive involvement in social media. What will happen that they will be seeing all the violence and everything. Like last time when we have this Gen Z revolution, during that time people used to excessively involve in the social media. They used to see all the burned places, they used to see the all the smokes and all the injuries. With that, they have some triggering factor that they what to do, some dilemma, some anxiety it will provoke definitely. So we do recommend that not to engage longer duration of staying in a social media. I think you need some gap also. Just to see and to get the information is thing. But right now, I think to get the information in the right resources is very important, because nowadays social media, somehow the fake news are also very common, and with that fake news the people think that it is really true. So try to understand which one is fake and which one is not, which one is true. So I think to get the information, to getting from the real resource places, especially like in the NTV, you can see that you give the real information. Whereas other like these TikTok, these Facebook, these all are the people are putting over there their experiences, which may be the fake also.
So social media does shape how mental health is perceived in today.
Not to everybody, but people who are introvert, people who are very much anxiety prone personalities, these people are affected by this type of news, which is harmful for them. In those conditions, it's better to avoid social media.
So how would a healthy relationship with social media even look like in this era?
It's not that you go away from that social media also. Nowadays, each and every people is very much aware, very much, but there must be some limited hour also. It's not that completely every time you are engaging, you are involving in the social media. So there are many more things. With this, their intellectual power, their academic power, this all will decrease with that. So it's better if we like to make it some gap and not to engage a lot of time in the social media.
So Dr. Pradhan, we have actually curated a small video for you. We asked the general public, what does mental health mean to them?
डाक्टरहरुको सरसल्लाह तपाईको युट्युबहरुमा समाचारमा स्वास्थ्यको धेरै जति पनि नराम्रो छ भने पनि राम्रो कुरा पनि धेरै युट्युबहरुमा देखिन्छ। अब प्राय बच्चाहरुले चाहिँ त्यतातिर ध्यान दिनुहुन्न, अनि घरमा पनि अब त्यही वातावरण चाहिँ बाबुआमाले पनि त्यस्तो स्वास्थ्यपट्टि चाहिँ अलिकति बुझ्नु भयो भने बच्चाहरुले त्यही हिसाबमा आफू सरै लिउनु भयो भने त्यो हिसाबमा बच्चा चल्न सक्छ।
Feeling
फिलिङ्सहरू सप्रेस गर्ने, इमोसनल सप्रेस गर्ने, अनि आफू चाहिँ डिप्रेसनमा जाने जस्तो सिचुएसनहरू पनि आउँछ। अहिले हामीले प्रायः देखिरहेको छौँ डिप्रेसनमा गएर मान्छेहरूले सुसाइडल केसहरू कति धेरै गरिरहेको हुन्छ है। यो भनेको चाहिँ एउटा मेन्टल काउन्सिलिङ भनेको चाहिँ त्यही भएर म चाहिँ एउटा प्रिभेन्टिभ मेजर जस्तो पनि हो जस्तो लाग्छ। जेनरल पब्लिकहरूको लागि पनि कति कुराहरूमा चाहिँ हामीलाई थाहा हुँदैन, हामी मेन्टली इल भइरहेको हुन्छौँ, तर पनि वी आर नट अवेर कि हामी चाहिँ एउटा सिकनेसको जर्नीमा गइरहेको हुन्छ।
बोट बिरुवामा खेल्दै गयो भने त्यहाँ झार उम्रिया हुन्छ, त्यसलाई कसैलाई पानी भएको हुँदैन, कसैलाई तपाईँको मल पुगा हुँदैन, कोहीलाई रोग लाग्यो हुन्छ। त्यो हाम्रो दिमाग डाइभर्ट भएपछि त त्यो मान्छेले त्यो हेल्थलाई एकदम कन्सियस गरेर काम गर्न सक्यो क्या। त्यसपछि उसको हेल्थलाई त उसले अटोमेटिकै सपोर्ट गर्नु भयो नि त। त्यो हिसाबले नै मेन्टल हेल्थको लागि चाहिँ अति आवश्यकै जस्तो लाग्छ।
अहिलेको मेन्टल हेल्थको बारेमा चाहिँ जस्तै नेपालमा चाहिँ मोबाइल कम्प्युटरहरू चाहिँ एकदम चलाएको देखिन्छ यङ जेनेरेसनमा चाहिँ। त्यो भएको हुनाले चाहिँ लाइक टिकटक एसएनएस चाहिँ धेरै चलाएको हुन्छ। त्यो भएको हुनाले जस्तै स्क्रोल टाइमिङ चाहिँ धेरै नै हुन्छ यो यङ जेनेरेसनमा चाहिँ। त्यो भएको हुनाले इनफ स्लिप चाहिँ हुँदैन, लाइक न्युट्रिसन फुडमा पनि ध्यान दिएको हुँदैन, किनकि टाइम स्पेन्ड धेरै भएको हुनाले चाहिँ यसमा चाहिँ कन्ट्रोल गर्न पर्ने देखिन्छ।
Parents have to be very much careful about what the children are doing. Especially the children are also they are very much fond of these in social media, mostly engaging all those things. But what we do is that the parents also used to see in the social media, and the same thing the children used to copy what the parents are doing. So what we do suggest that the parents also stop looking after these things, give some time and play with the children. That is the main technique to avoid the social media. You start talking with your children, play with them, indoor games or outdoor games, or go around somewhere places that are looking at good places. So these are the issues to avoid social media, and then it will be better one. So what they do, especially they both start saying the children used to copy the parents. To avoid those things, play with them, so stay with them, eat together, stay together, relax together with the children. It's very important part. This is how we have to teach the children to engage in social activities, not the social media and a mobile phone.
So Dr. Pradhan is actually a former president of SARC Psychiatric Association as well. So we talk about mental health these days a lot more than a decade ago. But is mental health accessible to everyone, or is it just people who can afford it talk about it?
That's a very good question you asked about this thing. Actually, mental health is that what we have to do is it should be accessible to everybody. But the thing is that not only accessible, right now the scenario is they are not understanding what is mental illness. What they feel that mental health is only to the insane people who used to have it, the problem, and then this is the mental health. Not like that. Mental health issues is how their intellectual abilities, how their social activities, how their interacting with the other people, how is their memory capacity. These all are the issues together to see the mental health awareness, mental health issues that we have to see. And with that, we can see what are the real problems. Especially that when any issues like in schizophrenia, in bipolar affective disorder, what they will have, there are the different perceptual disturbances, mood disturbances, these things will occur. With that, totally different scenario will occur.
So do you think therapy and psychiatry in Nepal and other countries like Nepal, is mental health seen as a luxury or actually a necessity?
Oh no, it's not luxury. We can't say that like that. But actually, this is really awareness is very important. What we are doing right now, each and every last time we have the 10th October is the mental health issue day, and the 10th September is the suicide prevention day. These all the issues these days are that we are providing some type of awareness programs are very much there. But beside that, still this is not effective. Still this is not accessible to the general public. They feel in a different way that this is the thing. So in those conditions, especially we need to go to school areas around 9 or 10 school children to educate about the mental health. What is really problem? What especially in those areas they used to indulge in cigarette smoking or maybe these tablet taking behaviors. These are also another problem and challenging to them. So in those conditions, we need a greater awareness program in school programs also. And besides that, and this is also one of the programs, this is also awareness program so that the people can understand what really the mental health and how we can go ahead and how we can understand the mental health. This is the thing. Mental health, it doesn't mean that one person is totally insane and we see those things. That how you are working here, because you are we are a mentally healthy person. That's why you can work in this condition. If any challenges you have, you solve those problems with your own intellectual capacity. This is what the mental issues, mental health issues, that you are mentally aware and you are mentally well-being, that shows that any problem you can solve. This is how we go ahead. Because we can see that not only all the people are mentally ill.
So for people who are fighting these silent battles in their own head, what message would you like to give them?
To the general public, give love and affection to your mentally ill people, and this is their right to get the treatment also. They have their right. So if any person who used to see such type of problem, please do bring to us, then definitely they will be cared. And especially to the rural areas, don't make it in a prison and don't make it in a bounded in a room, a locked room. So they have to come out. They're right to get the treatment. This is what the message have to go.
Thank you so much for joining us today in NTV Insights. That was a very insightful conversation with Dr. Pradhan. Now, for in-depth stories and analysis, do follow our website, www.ntvworld.com, and do follow us on YouTube channel NTV World and social media handle as well. Until next time, see you.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting, PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World.
Facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling the stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
Where the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World, taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands.
Reporting for Public Service Broadcasting.
Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mikey song.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
At every bend of the serpentine Bheri River, a new face of nature emerges. Each turn revealing a beauty so varied and mesmerizing that it moves the heart moment by moment. Traveling from Chinchul Surkhet through Jare and Mehelkuna toward Gurbakot, the Bheri displays its quiet miracles. Over its crystal blue flow drifts the rustle and chirping of dozens of birds. The whisper of nearby trees merges with the vast blue sky, reflecting a harmony of natural splendor. Cutting through Chinchu, heading along the proud and scenic terrain of Gurbakot, our thoughts find themselves racing steadily along the Madan Bhandari highway toward Lake Besi in Surkhet. Our destination, the Raute settlement. We seek to observe closely the lifestyle of this indigenous group, long perceived as distant. We hope to feel a sense of closeness with a community rarely encountered, where the Raute, in their most authentic form, stand before us to share their stories. The Raute have cultivated a unique identity as Nepal's nomadic ethnic group. If someone in their settlement dies, they immediately abandon that location and do not return for 10 years, a tradition that makes permanent settlement extremely challenging. Their temporary homes are built by fixing wooden stakes into the ground, tying cross pieces, and covering the structure with old cloth and tarpaulin.
सधैँभरि यो पुर्खा मेरो पुर्खौली त्यस्तो छ त्यस्तो नभए जे भए एक ठाउँमा बस्ने थियो एक ठाउँमा नभए
यो हजुरलाई हल्दुवार यो घर बनाउँछौँ त्यस्तो घर हामी मन पर्दैन मेरो मन परेको यस्तै चिरपाल तागा कोडाउनु हुन्छ हामीले यस्तै मन परेको छ यही गाडो लगाएर राम्रो मान्छौँ अब पहिला हेर्न जानु पर्यो पहिला
त्यो हेर्न तपाईँ आफै
यो हामी आफू त जाँदैन केटाउडु जान्छ त केटाउडु गएर फेरि हेरेर ठाउँ राम्रो छ कि नराम्रो छ कि भनेर ठाउँ यो जहाँ ठाउँ राम्रो भयो त्यही जाने यस्तै पाखामा को बस्न सक्छ यतै समूह जग्गा चाहिए.
Especially during winter, protecting themselves from the cold becomes difficult. They sleep on the bare ground with only thin tarpaulins, not enough clothing to cover their bodies fully. Men wear a loincloth and wrap their backs with coarse cloth, knotted in front and falling to the thighs, with a cap or a small turban on their heads. Women wear a short, patterned skirt of rough fabric and a handmade blouse that covers only part of the torso and chest. Women adorn themselves with earrings, necklaces and bracelets made of iron, brass and aluminum. When we visited in late Kartik, the cold had already set in, yet the rowdy sat on the ground as usual. Even when ill, they rely solely on their chieftain, traditional healing practices and herbal remedies. The rowdy tell that the community consists of 3 clans, Katyal, Raskoti and Samalvanshi Shahi. According to the National Census of 2021, rowdy population stands at 566. It was 618 in the 2011 census.
कोही मान्छे यो पहिला त आया थिएन अब आज भोलि त यो सामान पनि आउँछ भट्टा पनि लाग्यो हो कि होइन सामान पनि आउँछ यो तिरपाल पनि आउँछ ब्ल्याङ्केट आउँछ खाना पुग्यो त भइयो अब भोकै मरेको छैन के अरे बाहिरबाट आयो भने कामधारी त गर्नु पर्यो हो कि होइन त्यो काम कुसी बनाउनु पर्यो मधुस बनाउनु पर्यो खाद बनाउनु पर्छ अब दराजु हामी बनाउँदैन हजुर.
Traditionally, the Rowdy have lived in the forests, ravines and riverbanks of districts like Dailik, Jazarkot, Surkhet, Acham, Salyan, Dang and Kalikot. They dwell in the wilderness, hunt monkeys and carve wooden utensils which they exchange for grain in nearby villages. It's a cycle that sustains their livelihood. The Rowdy have distinct marriage customs. After marriage, a separate area is set aside for the couple. According to Rowdy belief, a widow should not remarry after her husband's death. Marriages occur strictly within their own community between Rowdy youths. Apart from cooking pots at home, an axe for cutting trees, and a chisel-like tool for shaping wood, the Rowdy do not store belongings. Men prefer to hunt monkeys using traps, while women gather wild roots and tubers. With just an axe and chisel, they craft wooden utensils. Once, the Rowdy believed touching money would bring misfortune. They also avoided speaking with outsiders, but today they readily ask anyone for money, an indicator of the slow transformation in their lifestyle and consumption habits.
मेरो नाम फुलमाया.
कति वर्षको भयो?
म 18 भयो.
अनि स्कुल जान्छ जाँदैन?
स्कुल त जान थियो पहिला त जान दिएन. आज बोले पनि स्कुल जान दिएन.
कसले?
मुखियाले.
किन नि?
मुखियाले नि पढ्न लेख्न दिएन त.
किन होला त त्यस्तो?
खै के पो होला नि मुखियाले दिन्न नि. पढ्न जान त मन त लाग्छ तर पढ्न दिन्न.
In recent years, increasing dependence on alcohol has begun to create serious health issues within the community.
त्यस्तो राम्रो आडा मैले मान्छु कसैले बजारको नसाई हुन्छ त्यो नाच हेर्न जाने कसैले यो मौसुक लाग्छ त्यस्तो मौसुक यो जङ्गलबाट मौसुक हेऱ्यो भने झन् आउनु मान्छु यो मेरो परिवर्तन नगर्ने मान्छ परिवर्तन गरेको कहिले पनि राम्रो मान्दैन हामी मेरो पुर्खैबाट यो परिवर्तन नगरेको मान्छ परिवर्तन गरेको यो पैसा चाहिँ आँखाले पैसा चिने त भइहाल्यो
Nepal's constitution not only recognizes the equal existence, rights and dignity of all ethnic groups, but also ensures fair protection, upliftment, empowerment and development of marginalized and endangered communities. The state has pledged equal distribution of economic, social and cultural opportunities with special provisions for the protection and advancement of disadvantaged people within minority groups. Although the federal and provincial governments have introduced various programs for the Raute community in recent years, the lives of the Raute have yet to see the meaningful improvement envisioned.
AI brings in a lot of augmentation and efficiency gains, which will not necessarily replace the human, but produce a lot more efficient human, almost like a superhuman, where the person will be able to do more jobs in less amount of time. And that efficiency gains could impact overall economic output, which could then generate a lot more new kind of jobs.
Will they be a misfit in near future?
More and more people should learn how to use some of these tools, because if you don't use it, I don't know if misfit is the word, but you will be left behind.
जुन कलाहरू प्रस्तुत गर्नुभएको छ त्यसमा चाहिँ उहाँहरूले आफ्नो भावनाहरू चाहिँ व्यक्त गर्नुभएको मैले चाहिँ पाएँ। जुन कलरहरू रङहरू उहाँहरूले प्रयोग गर्नुभएको छ त्यस्तो लाग्यो मलाई चाहिँ। हाम्रो नेपाल तर्फबाट चाहिँ कति चाहिँ पारम्परिक कलाहरू रहेछन् जस धेरै राम्रो छ।
This exhibition is about the 70 years relationship of the Nepal and the China, where I have presented my work over here. The work indicates about the relationship between the two countries, and this title also is togetherness, which means like two people can complete everything, without two they cannot. So it's all about the feelings, desires, and then whatever we are doing, we need other help. So individually we can do this. So individually my work representing the printmaking part is a surface print over here, and then this exhibition is along with the other Chinese artists and the Nepalese artists. I'm proud to be here to present my work in this exhibition. It's like it's depend on the time, depend on the mood. All people say that we all are the very artists are very moody person, but my work is took like I set in the mind first, and then when I created, so it depends. In this work, like I did the serious work in the Mera Amako Thaili, my mother's pouch, where I grown up with my mother's pouch, where I feel like if she had money, I feel so happy, like I can demand her, like I needed toffee, something else, but there also what I found, like in that pouch we have 2 ribbons. Without that ribbon, 2 ribbons, it cannot open. So there is a symbolically togetherness. So this is all about togetherness. There were many artists, but the Chinese artists came and see my work, but one of the professor, and then they said like, when I explained about my work, then they said they haven't think about that one, but they like it much.
Actually, we learn from each other. I think this is why we exhibited, we organized this program together. This is what our goal was, to collaborate with them, and our mission to collaborate with different organizations, different nations. We learn many things together between 2 nations artists, such as the artistic art equipments and the reference of the art and how they take a reference to apply their paintings. We found that they have mainly influenced by the natures, and mostly in this exhibition the Nepalese artists have expressed their feelings in the paintings through their color and brushes. Mostly Nepalese paintings are creative. They have applied their creative ideas in the painting, in the canvas, with vibrant colors and lines.
I feel very honored to be the part of this exhibition entitled Silk Road Echoes Art Unites Art. And in this painting, in the traditional part, you can see lots of the genres of artworks like Poba painting, Thangka painting, and the Mithila painting also. And being a Poba artist, I would like to say something about the Poba painting. As Poba is basically the religious Newar painting, which has been practiced in Kathmandu Valley since more than 1,000 years. So we have the history of the long time, and since that period also the Nepalese artists were used to invite to the Tibet and other parts of the China to create their artworks, and this is how the art has played the very important role in strengthening the relationship between these 2 countries, Nepal and China. And Poba, as said earlier, it's a religious painting. It was used for the meditational purpose and also for archiving the various rituals and the various ceremonies that happened in that time. But nowadays, it's not only limited for this religious practice. The people are also appreciating the aesthetic value inherent in this form of art, and Chinese people, they are also very interested in this art form and have started to collect these artworks. So as it has a very long history, you can see the lots of the stylistic transformations also. In this exhibition also you can see in Poba painting also, you can see lots of the transformations like the black and white, the monochromic style colored painting, and also which has been influenced from the European style. This painting, there is the 8 auspicious symbols, and it's very important in the Buddhist philosophy. So though it's based on the Buddhism, it's not only the religious thing. We can also take this philosophy for as an art of living, which can make our life even more better and can also make the society and the other people beneficial from that philosophy. Just like, for example, here it's known as the endless knot. So here in this part you can see you can't see the starting or the ending point of the knot, and it's going upward and downward and again upward and downward. And what does it symbolizes in our life also? We have to face the lots of the ups and downs, and again maybe ups and downs in every stages of life. So it teaches us that in every stages we have to stay calm, because these upwards and downward parts, or good or bad things, is a part of life, and we have to take everything very normally. And similarly, we do have the here you can see it's the conch shell, and we all know that the conch shell has a very melodious sound, and it symbolizes that in every aspect, whether it be in the business or in every field we are in, we have to speak very melodiously so that people will like us, and we can do very much better in our business or maybe anything. So this is how these symbols are created to make our life better, and it needn't to be the religious only. We can use this philosophy in our entrepreneurial journey, in any field, like in our business, in our interested field or anything. As Pauba painting is the religious painting, in the ancient time, the Pauba painting was not done or started as the normal way the artists are doing nowadays. It has to, the artist, and the patron, and also the priest, they have to follow the very strict discipline in the ancient time, and that's why it was used to keep in the shrine room, and only a few people were allowed to worship or view the Pauba painting that time. On the basis of the different scripture or the sutras, there are the lots of the processes of ritual processes of painting the Pauba painting. One process is, actually I have done the two paintings following this ritual. So for the starting of this type of painting, firstly I have to go to the priest to get the auspicious day to when to start. We can't start in any normal days. So the priest, he look out all the astrology, and he will give me the date. And a day before, I have to shave the hair, because it is believed that starting any painting, body, speech and mind has to be purified. So cutting or the shaving the hair is a part of purifying the body. And also the cut the nail, and family person also has to cut the nail. And then after the next day, we have to perform the very special ritual known as Hasta Puja. And on that day, the priest, he performed the Hasta Puja ceremony, where he preached about the philosophy of the god or goddesses, which I am going to paint. And this is how he will purify the speech and mind. And also, it is said that when we do something good, there will always the obstacles will always come on the way. And when we perform that puja, it is believed that the obstacles will also be removed or eradicated. And the colors, the tools, the brush, the canvas, all of these things are also being worshipped. And finally, after the ritual, the priest, he will write the seed syllables of the god or goddesses on the canvas, and then only I can paint. Not that day, but the very next day. I have to wake up early, I have to do the daily rituals, the meditation, and then only I can paint. And I can't paint once I eat something, because in our community or in our religion, it is believed that once we eat something, we are impure. So there are other restrictions also, like I have to go vegetarian, I can't eat the salad, the onion, tomatoes, like this. And they are believed that it's harmful for our health if we go through the scientific way. And also I can't eat with other peoples or even with the family people in the same tables. I have to stay very separate from them. And I have done two paintings, which took me around 3 months for each painting. And after the completion also, we again have to do the ritual known as the consecration. And the priest, he he invites the god or goddesses through his puja and requests to the deities to reside in the painting. And then it's not only the form of art, it's the god or goddess himself or herself. And then these paintings are kept in the shrine room. And one painting is in my shrine room also, and one is in the Museum of Nepalese Art. So this was the process that the artist used to follow from the ancient time. But after the medieval period of Nepal, the artist has not seems to be followed these rituals, and that's why I feel like this is the foundation of our artworks. And if we really like to preserve this art, we have to preserve this ritual and this process.
Namaste everyone. This time the exhibition is about the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Nepal. This was jointly organized by Silk Road Cities Alliance, Nepal Academy of Fine Arts, China Cultural Center in Nepal, and the Ambassador of China in Nepal. These paintings, we are pleased to present 60 paintings and calligraphy works by 5 renowned Chinese painters to Nepali audiences.
中国画的特点呢是画家用毛笔、用墨。
Generally speaking, the traditional Chinese paintings draw inspiration from landscapes, figures, and the delicate world of flowers and birds as its central theme. Though graceful brushstroke techniques and subtle sets of inks and pigment, it vividly portrays the natural beauty of green mountains, flowing waters, flowers, birds, insects, and fish.
Normally,
there are 2 types of traditional Chinese paintings. One is focused in the relaxed and expressive freehand style rather than aiming for photographic realism. It relies on bold and economic brushstrokes to capture the spirit and sense of the subject. And another one is the fine brushwork techniques, which is one of the major features of Chinese painting, and it uses precise lines and delicate detail color to present the scenery in the painting. Chinese painting is also famous for its integration of poetry, calligraphy, painting, and seal carving. Paintings are generally supplemented with poems, calligraphy, and the painter's signature seal. In this exhibition, we can feast our eyes on mountains, rivers, waterfalls, streams, houses, and various animals.
Whether it is Brikuti or Orniku from Nepal, who have helped us a great in spreading the culture of Nepal to all over China, and establishing the diplomatic relation between Nepal and China throughout the centuries. Though Nepal and China is separated by the high Himalayas, also played an important role in our exhibition. As you can see in this exhibition, most of the paintings are based on the Himalayan nature and the culture. So these artworks in this exhibition has helped us to establish the relationship between China and Nepal across the borders. We have altogether 104 paintings in this exhibition, in which we have altogether 60 paintings from China, in which there are 15 artists, and there are altogether 44 paintings of Nepalese artists. Nepal Academy of Fine Art has been working as an umbrella organization for the artists, researchers, and critics since 1930, promoting art, culture through different activities like exhibition, workshops, seminars, research, and trainings. Being one of the organizers, along with China Culture Center and Silk Road Alliance, I hope this exhibition will play a significant role in fostering and enhancing the bond between China and Nepal.
AI brings in a lot of augmentation and efficiency gains, which will not necessarily replace the human, but produce a lot more efficient human, almost like a superhuman, where the person will be able to do more jobs in less amount of time. And that efficiency gains could impact overall economic output, which could then generate a lot more new kind of jobs.
Will they be a misfit in near future?
More and more people should learn how to use some of these tools, because if you don't use it, I don't know if misfit is the word, but you will be left behind.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's ready for honest work with the US after receiving a draft peace plan to end the war with Russia. Several US media outlets report that under the plan, Kiev would give up areas of the Donbass in eastern Ukraine that it still controls, cut the size of its army, and pledge not to join NATO. It is unclear how involved Ukraine has been in drafting the plan, but White House's press secretary Karoline Leavitt says the US had engaged equally with both sides.
I'm not going to litigate the details of this plan as it's ongoing and it's in flux, but the president supports this plan. It's a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine, and we believe that it should be acceptable to both sides, and we're working very hard to get it done.
In a separate statement, Zelensky's office said that Ukraine had agreed to work on the plan's provisions in a way that would bring about a just end to the war. According to a draft of the plan, Ukraine's military will be limited to 600,000 personnel, but European fighter jets will be stationed in Poland. It states that Kiev will receive reliable security guarantees, although further details are not given. The draft also says Russia will be reintegrated into the global economy through the lifting of sanctions and by inviting Russia to rejoin the G7, a forum of the world's most powerful countries, making it the G8 again. If confirmed in full, the demands in the plan would appear to favor Moscow's interest. Zelensky says he expected to speak with US President Donald Trump in the coming days about the proposals, which also include plans for Ukraine to forego many of its weapons. India's largest conglomerate, Reliance Industries, owned by billionaire Mukesh Ambani, has stopped importing Russian crude oil for its export-only refining unit at Jamnagar in the western state of Gujarat. The move aims to comply with an EU ban on fuel imports made from Russian oil through third countries, which takes effect next year. It also aligns with US sanctions on major Russian oil producers, Rosneft and Lukoil, set to kick in on Friday. This transition has been completed ahead of the schedule to ensure full compliance with the product import restrictions coming into force on 21st of January 2026. The White House has welcomed the move by Reliance. Delhi's purchase of Russian oil has been a major sticking point between India and the US. Trump slapped India with 50% of tariffs in August, including a 25% penalty for buying Russian oil and arms, which he says was funding Moscow's war on Ukraine, a charge India has denied. India's purchase of discounted Russian oil shot up from barely 2.5% of imports before the war began in 2022 to around 35.8% in 2024-25. Reliance is India's largest importer of Russian oil and accounts for around 50% of Russian oil flows into the country. The mounting global pressure appears to be having a desired effort on India after months of resistance from Delhi to reduce oil purchases from Moscow. Over the past couple of months, oil refiners in India have been lowering their imports, according to several reports. Countries remain bitterly divided over the future of fossil fuels as the 2025 United Nations Climate Change Conference, known as COP30, is slated to end in Brazil's northern city of Belém amid a haze of recriminations. Delegates at the two-week conference have failed to reach a deal as Brazil circulated a new draft proposal on Thursday that did not include a roadmap to transitioning away from fossil fuels, nor mention the term fossil fuels at all. More than 30 other countries from Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Pacific co-signed a letter in response, slamming the draft and saying they cannot support an outcome that does not include a roadmap for implementing a just, orderly, and equitable transition. The commitment to moving away from fossil fuels, including natural gas, coal, and crude oil, was considered a landmark achievement of COP28 in Dubai. Even then, the deal stopped short of calling for a phase-out amid fierce lobbying from oil-producing countries. A first draft of the COP30 text, which was publicized on Tuesday, did contain the option of building a roadmap away from such fuels. But major producers and consumers, including China, India, Saudi Arabia, and Russia, have rejected the proposal. The United States, which backed a phase-out in 2023 under former President Joe Biden, did not send a delegation to this year's conference. US President Donald Trump has long slammed the climate crisis and global warming as a hoax. Japanese local authorities approved the restart of the world's biggest nuclear plant on Friday for the first time since the 2011 Fukushima disaster. The plant was taken offline when Japan pulled the plug on nuclear power after an earthquake and tsunami sent 3 reactors at the Fukushima atomic plant into meltdown in 2011. However, the nation now wants to revive atomic energy to reduce its heavy dependence on fossil fuels, achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, and meet growing energy needs from artificial intelligence. 14 reactors, mostly in western and southern regions, have resumed operations since the post-Fukushima shutdown after strict safety standards were imposed. The nuclear plant along the Sea of Japan coast facing the Korean peninsula would be the first restart for Fukushima operator TEPCO since the disaster. The huge facility in central Japan has been fitted out with a 15-meter wall in case of tsunamis, new power backup systems on higher ground, and other measures. Inside a lab in the French city of Orleans, scientists are testing out the limits of molecules in our body called messenger RNA, best known for being used in COVID-19 vaccines, in the hopes of finding a breakthrough treatment for a particularly deadly cancer. Messenger RNA or mRNA are molecules that carry genetic information from the DNA in every cell in the body to create specific proteins. Scientists in Orleans are producing mRNA in yeast, a cheaper method that would slash production cost by 10 to 50 times. One team is focused on pancreatic cancer using powerful ultrasound to burst bubbles in the tumor's protective barrier and deliver the mRNA directly into cancerous tissue. Miss Mexico Fatima Bose has been crowned Miss Universe at a ceremony in Bangkok marking the end of an exceptionally scandal-filled pageant season. The 25-year-old contestant had walked out of an event earlier in November after a Thai official publicly berated her in front of dozens of contestants and threatened to disqualify those who supported her. That dramatic turn was followed a week later by the resignation of two judges, one of whom accused organizers of rigging the competition. This comes as one of the world's longest-running beauty pageants faces questions of its relevancy in the midst of a declining audience. The contest's latest result has added to the controversy, with news of Miss Mexico's win instantly dividing opinion online. Many Mexicans celebrated her victory, as did others who had applauded her walkout, but some others have wondered if organizers gave her the crown to make up for the earlier scandal. Miss Thailand Praveena Singh placed first runner-up, while Miss Venezuela Stephanie Apsali placed third, followed by Miss Philippines Maatisa Manalo. For centuries, the Manik, one of Thailand's smallest ethnic minorities, lived as hunter-gatherers roaming the rainforest of the Malay Peninsula, moving with the seasons in search of food. But the lures of a settled home, among them education and healthcare, mean their way of life is changing. The Manik are now demanding ownership rights to land they say has effectively been theirs for generations, but is today protected by Thai law. Their ancestral territory is now part of conservation zones where Thai law bans private ownership, leaving them with only 20-year use permits rather than full ownership. The community argues these permits reduce them to temporary occupants while they seek security and the right to build homes, farm, and preserve their way of life. A new Ethnic Protection Act passed in September 2025 grants some land use rights but does not allow private land titles, a major point of contention for the Manik. India's first native-born female cheetah, Mukhi, has given birth to 5 cubs, a milestone for Project Cheetah and the country's conservation mission. In a delightful breakthrough for India's cheetah reintroduction program, Mukhi, aged 33 months, has given birth to 5 cubs. Forest Minister Bhupendra Yadav announced that this is the first time in recent history that an Indian-born cheetah has reproduced, making it a landmark achievement for Project Cheetah. He emphasized that successful reproduction by a native-born cheetah is a strong indicator of the species' adaptation, health, and long-term prospects in Indian habitats. The mother and cubs are reported to be doing well. The second craft festival is underway in Vietnam. The event features an exhibition area with more than 270 booths showcasing eco products, startup initiatives, and local foods, along with tours of ecological craft farming models. Large crowds gathered the opening night to explore the displays and enjoy the regional dishes. The craft festival will run through November 22nd, offering a series of diverse activities aimed at raising the profile of the provinces in domestic and international markets.
Music all over the world is I think it's a universal language, and basically when it comes to musicians like us, we really get connected when somebody or from some part of music from different part of the world can go well together, and we can do so many different things, because we come from different culture, we come from different perspectives in life,
started jamming together, and then we were asked to play a festival at the Patton Museum called the Namlo Music Festival, Music and Heritage Festival, I believe it was called. And so we were asked to do that, and I said, okay, I'll put together a band with Prince. And then he called his old buddies from when he grew up jamming with them. I would play a bluegrass tune, and then they would say, oh, that sort of goes like this Nepali tune. And we would just go from one to the other, and then I would show them my songs, and we would do that. So that was 3 years ago now.
Joy and Prince has already said about it. Actually, they both first met each other. I mean, Joy knew Prince's father back in the US, and I was a struggling musician in Kathmandu, and I was friend with Mr. Prince Nepali, and we used to play in some other different bands as well. And once Joy and Prince, they both met, and Prince was like, are you interested in doing something new, something different rather than rock and pop music? What about some fusions and bluegrass and folk music? And he challenged me like, do you want to do it or not? And I was like, okay, I'm up for it. And then actually it's that kind of story.
Actually, I'm planning like I haven't done any like production or anything like this with this instrument, so I'm actually planning for like trying to fuse a different instrument and get some production of different like percussion instrument and our traditional composition. Not just Tibet, there are also different instruments like key, different folk instruments as well. So I think also I'm planning like to get collaborated with different folk artists and the traditional drummers to bring them together and then make some compositions or just play already composed things and just make out some videos and then share it with, maybe on some social platforms like this.
The music that we are doing right now is like a crossover between American bluegrass music and Nepali folk music. And actually, first of all, we came up with an idea of just playing with each other, just jamming together. And we found out that, okay, so this could work very nicely together. So I'm using like a traditional instrument sarangi, and we're combining this with the mandolin that comes from the US, and the bluegrass music. And I think my idea is basically to present it like my folk culture and my traditional songs, and also like go together with the American music. I've been very fortunate and blessed to be born in such like musical family. So being a fourth generation, I think I never felt the pressure. First of all, because I enjoyed what I was doing, and then more than that, I think it's basically the kind of fun that I have with music, and I think there's some different intimacy between me and music, So I really enjoyed what I was doing, and I really had great fun. So I've been working on different projects and trying to inspire the youth at the moment in my life. So I have this project called Sarangi Ghar, where I basically have like classes. We also have the store. We do produce sarangi, and I think it's also encourages me to explore with the instrument itself, and the culture itself. It's so beautiful, and like Nepal being so rich in culture and tradition, I want to like collaborate with different artists, folk artists in Nepal, and all from the world actually, and create different kind of new music with different caste and ethnic groups here in Nepal. They also have their own traditional instruments, folk instruments, And I think you must like find a way to have fun with it actually, and then I think more than anything else, actually, the youths can just enjoy what they have been like with the music itself, and I really actually want them to explore Nepali music more. Youth can basically have like an opportunity where they can just go explore, find an instrument. We have tungna, we have sarangi, we have many other instruments. Like if you go in the western part of Nepal, you have like far western part, you have hudke baza, and there's lots of binayo and everything. And I find panche baza is interesting as well. So everybody can explore like whatever interest they have. They don't have to take it very professionally. They can just enjoy with it actually. Himalayan Highway is like it's a music that's crossed between the Nepali folk and American bluegrass music. So today we'll be presenting mostly the fusion of like the instrumental thing, and we will be singing a few of our original songs. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy.
चिसो हावासँग यो मेरो मनको भावनाहरूलाई सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँग यो मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई पानी परेको बादलहरू अझै पनि माथि माथि घामको न्यानो स्पर्शसँगै इन्द्रेणीको रङ्ग पनि त्यही सररा चिसो हावासँगै हो मेरो मनको बनाहरूलाई सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँगै हो मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई मन मेरो खुला आकाशै भरिएको छ जुन र ताराले आफ्नो खुसी यहाँ आफै खुसी उडी जान्छु हावा बनी सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँगै हो मेरो मनको भावनाहरूलाई सररा उडाइ लाग्यो चिसो हावासँगै हो मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई मेरो मनको चाहनाहरूलाई
Actually, our first name was Manaslu Blue. The blue was for bluegrass, and then Manaslu was for Nepal. But then I was about a year in, I was brainstorming with my parents, and our goal with the band is to bring it abroad. I come from my perspective of American folk music, and these guys bring their wonderful Nepali folk music. And I think the goal of the band is to share this amazing fusion and to show people especially how amazing Nepali folk music is and how much we can do these cross-cultural collaborations. But the thing about Manaslu Blue is that no one outside of Nepal knows the mountain Manaslu. So then I was thinking with my dad, and somehow we came to Himalayan Highway. Highway is a very American thing, and there are a lot of bluegrass bands, Blue Highway, Golden Highway, so it's a common name. And then we thought Himalayan to talk about Nepal and the region. Well, first of all, I just fell in love with Nepali culture. I love momos, I love dal bhat, I love it all. I love this beautiful country. We want to show more people the beautifulness of Nepal. I think that from my perspective, I love Nepali folk music, but in this country, sometimes people haven't valued it. They've looked to the West for other influences. And so one of our goals is to bring up Nepali folk and fusing it. We're not just doing pure folk music, but to show that this is a vibrant, evolving history and tradition that is still relevant today. And then I also think to people abroad, and especially to Nepalis, I want to show them that they can take their instruments and their culture and they can bring it to the world, and that it's so amazing. I mean, everyone who I know maybe they don't know so much about Nepal, maybe the only thing they know is that Mount Everest is there. But then once they try a momo, once they hear some music, then they love it. And so we want to just share this music with more people and share the cross-cultural collaboration.
'cause all day I took her way at Brook and tried to shut down all of the hurt. But sometimes at the end, does it fade on the page, and my eyes just run a glaze. And I say, hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I say, hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I say, hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. And is there ever an end to this breathless whirlwind? Is there even a point of it all? 'Cause at the end of the day, just a speck in the frame on this rugged, snowy road. And I say, hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I say, hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I say, hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. And I say, hallelujah, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I say, hallelujah, let it burn, let it burn. And I say, hallelujah, 'cause I can finally feel something instead of just nothing at all. There's a guy on the stage, and he's playing the guitar the wrong way around. And I also have to tell you that that's not his main instrument, in fact. His main instrument is the piano, but he also slays at the guitar. That's Mr. Enes Tamang.
Nowadays, I think many young generations, upcoming generations, like they are more over into like different. I mean, it doesn't mean to demean it, but people are more over in different kind of music rather than our own cultural music. And I think promoting like this, like promoting through our own traditional instrument like sarangi and tabla, and maybe fusing it. Of course, it's not like we don't utilize the Western culture. Also, we utilize it, but we should not forget like our own roots, our own culture. So yeah, I think it's important so that we could carry the legacy as well of our own musical instruments and our own culture as well. Our brand is like, it's like the main goal is to like, of course, promoting the folk culture, our own tradition and cultural music, and with a unique taste, of course, as mentioned earlier. And I want to encourage you all to do music, like never give up. Like in some point of life, like we are doing it as a professionally, and some people might be like demotivated, or they might be like in confusion also whether should they pursue the music as their career or not. But I suggest them just do it. I know there is going to be ups and downs, there is going to be struggle, a lot of struggles, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And yes, of course, don't forget to promote their own culture as we are doing. We just wrote a song like few days ago, and it was so random, but it turned out so beautiful. It's called Samjanabo, and it's a Nepali, like Prince wrote it. It's a Nepali song, but we are fusing it with the American bluegrass thing. Recently, it's the favorite. Not because it's just written in few days ago, but it has a very good meaning.
स्टोरी चाहिँ चाइल्डहुड लभ स्टोरीको बारेमा हो, जहाँ चाहिँ दुईजना साथीहरू चाहिँ एकदमै स्कुल टाइमको लभदेखि नै धेरै अगाडि बढिसकेपछि चाहिँ एउटा पोइन्टमा चाहिँ जुन चाहिँ केटी साथी हुन्छ ऊ चाहिँ 4-5 वर्षको लभपछि चाहिँ हराउँछ र त्यो हराएको बेलामा चाहिँ केटाले चाहिँ धेरै थुप्रै प्रयासहरू गर्छ खोज्नलाई चाहिँ, तर कहिले पनि भेट्न सक्दैन र पछि हिँड्दै जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ अब 5 इयर्स पास भइसकेपछि चाहिँ अगाडि गएर हिँड्दै बाटोतिर हिँड्दाखेरि चाहिँ उसले झसङ्ग एकजना चिनेको अनुहार देख्छ है। अनि चिनेको अनुहार देख्दाखेरि चाहिँ उसलाई चाहिँ अब उसले पहिला भेटेको मान्छे चाहिँ अलिकति चेन्ज भएको रहेछ, तर अगाडि जानलाई चाहिँ ऊ अगाडि बढिसकेको हुन्छ, तर त्यहाँ चाहिँ एउटा सानो बच्चाले चाहिँ त्यो केटीको हात समाएर हिँडिरहेको हुन्छ जुन चाहिँ उसको छोरी हुन्छ। केटा चाहिँ अब अगाडि बढ्न सक्दैन र त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ यो गीतको सुरुवात हुन्छ।
सम्झना
Well, there's one person who has actually the most microphones, but no vocal mic. He's got a master's in tabla performance, and he's just an amazing percussionist, Mr. Yusuf Maharjan.
So right now I'm using these three stone instruments. So basically, this instrument on my left side is called dhime. So this is our traditional ethnic Newari instrument. It's from Kathmandu Valley itself. Unique sound, actually. It's very bass boosted, and it's one of the very important instrument for our Kathmandu Valley, and it's used in most of the festivals. Like, you will barely see a festival where there is no dhime instrument. So I think the instrument that holds too many emotions of this valley and this country, it should be shared and should be known to the world. And so speaking about this mandal and tabla, and also with the tabla, I would say like all of these three instruments these are one of the really old instrument of the world. I would say like it's more than 1,000 years old instrument. So it's already like history living and the sounding of history, So I think it's really important that the Western music that's not even more than 500 years old is being too much exposed, and yet this more old and more dynamic instrument, not just dynamic, and also the compositions, the sound, the tonal quality, this instrument really needs highlight to the world. Yeah. At first, the whatever generation is alive right now, so they must actually pass down this tradition and this instrument, how to play the instrument, how to blend this instrument with different musics that's available in the world right now, let's say. To be honest, I'm really proud right now because there is not too much like musicians who are promoting our own traditional music or our instruments. Lots of Nepali people and youngsters nowadays they are too much into Western music, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but I think along with the Western music, I think we should also try to share our Nepali culture, Nepali music, and so this is one of our initiatives to show the world like how can we fuse Nepali folk instruments music with the American bluegrass music, and show them the new taste, how they sound with the fusion of these two different music from different worlds.
गुरु गोरखनाथका तपोभूमि गोर्खा उनकै अनुयायी कन्फट्टा जोगीको रूपमा चिनिने नाथहरूले नाद बजाउँदै कार्तिक र चैत महिनामा राति लगाउने फेरी परम्परा।
चैत र कार्तिकमा चाहिँ यो बजाइन्छ। यो बजाएपछि नाथ बजेपछि काल पनि भएको छ भने नाथ बजे काल भए काले कानेका दूर जायो भनेर हामीले फलाकिन्छ यसलाई। यो कृष्ण सागरको सिङ हो। अब यो चैत्र कार्तिकमा बजाएपछि भूत पिचास मरी मसान सबै टाढा जाओस् भागोस् भनेर राति राति हामीले यो काम गरेर हिँडेको। काना गुरुले ज्ञान दे काना गुरुले कान भारे सतह गुरुले ज्ञान दे अलखा गुरुले कान भारे। अब हामीले यो बाबाजी पालादेखि यो गोरखनाथको चेला बनेर कान चिरेर अब हिँडेको।
पृथ्वीनारायण शाहको सन्धि विग्रह कूटनैतिक सम्बन्धमा कर्णपट्टा जोगीहरूको अत्यन्त ठुलो महत्त्वपूर्ण स्थान छ। कौटल्यको शब्दमा भन्ने हो भने राज्य जोडिएको छिमेकी शत्रु हुन्छ, त्यसभन्दा टाढाको छिमेकी चाहिँ मित्र हुन्छ। त्यसैले पृथ्वीनारायण शाहको लागि अथवा गोर्खाको लागि भनौँ 24 राज्यहरू शत्रु हुन् भने 22 राज्यहरू मित्र हुन्। विशेष गरेर सल्यानमा जहाँ सल्यानका राजकुमार रणवीर शाहलाई पृथ्वीनारायण शाहले आफ्नी एकमात्र पुत्री विलासपतिको पनि विक्रम सम्वत 1823 विवाह गराइदिए। ती भगवन्त नाथसँग पृथ्वीनारायण शाहले कूटनीतिक सम्बन्धको माध्यमबाट उनलाई अत्यन्त सम्मानित गरेर पृथ्वीनारायण शाहले लेखेका विषम 1830-31 का पत्रहरू छापिएका भन्छन्। त्यस्ता अरू पत्रहरू खोज्दै जाँदा होला पृथ्वीनारायण शाहले आफ्नो राज्य बढाउनेमा उनी धर्मप्राण पनि थिए। त्यसबाट प्रसाद गर्नेमा कूटनैतिक खेल्नेमा नाथयोगीहरूको अत्यन्त प्रयोग गरेको देखिन्छ र उनीहरूले पनि पृथ्वीनारायण शाहलाई मद्दत गरेका थिए भन्ने कुरा पृथ्वीनारायण शाहका नाति रणबहादुर शाहका पालाका पत्रहरूबाट पनि धेरै जात जातिलाई ती नाथयोगीहरूलाई जिम्मा दिएकोबाट बुझिन्छ। र नेपालको एकीकरणमा यी नाथयोगीहरूको प्रभाव उनीहरूले दिएको योगदानको विषयमा छुट्टै एउटा राम्रो अध्ययन हुनुपर्छ भन्ने मलाई लाग्छ।
अब बिहानमा चाहिँ फेरि सब सिधाहरू बनाइदिनुहुन्छ। यो के अरे ग्रह शान्ति होस् भनेर हामीले त्यसको मन्त्र पढेर सबै हामीले यो हिँड्नुपर्छ। बाबाजीको पालादेखि नै यो अब गाउँ गाउँमा यसो भनौँ न अब अंश बन्न जस्तै गरेर बाउले यो बाटो लाउँथे यो बाटो बाउले लाउँथे भनेर 3-4 भयो भने 4 बटियार हिँड्नुहुन्थ्यो। अब अहिले पनि त्यस्तै नै छ। यो पहिले बाबाजीले यतातिर हिँडेको भएर म पनि अहिले यहाँतिर यो गोर्खातिर मैले हिँडिरहेको छु। मैले कायाना गोधारे मघा भारी बाजा सात नगरेका पनि सोधरे मको नाराज।
वादी नीलम जो है ये चिन्हाने से शुरू होता है तो भट तक, ये पूरे एक वादी है और इसको वादी नीलम कहते हैं। और हमारा गांव जो है ये दुबारियाँ शहरी ये हमारा गांव है। और ये गांव तकरीबन यहाँ ये ऊपर और ये जगह भी उसी में शामिल है, जैसे हम बैठे हुए हैं ये भी दुबारियाँ शहरी में शामिल है। और हमारे गांव की आबादी तकरीबन जो है ये 250 घराना है, तकरीबन 3000 की आबादी पर मुश्तमिल ये गाँव हमारा है। इस इलाके में जो है ये एक तो चश्मे है ज़्यादा उनका है, दूसरा फिर जंगलात है। जंगलात में ये हरे हरे दरख्त हैं जिसमें देवदार भी है, फर भी है, काइल भी है। ये सब्ज़ा ज़्यादा होता है और सब्ज़ा की वजह से फिर ऊंची ऊंची पहाड़ियाँ हैं, ये बहते हुए दरिया, इसकी वजह से इसके अंदर ज़्यादा खूबसूरती है। फिर बिलखुसूस यहाँ पर रत्ती गली जो है ये तो सब यहाँ मशहूर जगह है, बहुत खूबसूरत झील है वहाँ पर, और ये पूरा इलाका बड़ा खूबसूरत इलाका है। पहले ज़माने में जब हम लोग छोटे छोटे थे ना, उस वक्त ये था कि यहाँ बिजली और दीगर चीज़ का कोई इंतज़ाम नहीं था। हम लोग ये क्या करते थे, छोटे छोटे जब स्कूल पढ़ते थे तो हम ये देवदार जो है दरख्त, इसकी वो लकड़ियाँ नीचे से निकालते थे छोटी छोटी, जिसको हम अपनी ज़ुबान में दिली कहते हैं। कुछ अर्से बात हुआ है, ये लालटेनें जो हैं ये आई और इसमें हम तेल लाते थे। वो तेल डाल कर बाद थोड़ी देर के लिए जलाते थे ताकि तेल भी थोड़ा इस्तेमाल हो, इसलिए कि पसमानदा इलाका था, इधर इतने वो वसाइल नहीं थे कमाई के, दीगर मामला नहीं थे जिसकी वजह से लोग ये चीज़ों को इस्तेमाल कर सकें। टीवी भी नहीं था, दीगर और ज़रूरियात भी नहीं थे, ये मोबाइल वगैरह ये कुछ भी नहीं था, तो जिसकी वजह से बिल्कुल ये था, ये समझ लें कि हम पत्थर के ज़माने में रहते थे। तो हमने सोचा यार हमारा गांव सबसे पीछे है, लिहाजा हम सोचे कि यहाँ पर तरक्की होनी चाहिए, हमारे गांव के लोग आगे जाएं। लकड़ का ये टर्बाइन बनाया और पहली लाइट जो है ये मस्जिद में जलाई। वो जब एक बल्ब जला उसकी रोशनी, तो हमें उम्मीद होगी कि हम ये काम कर सकते हैं। फिर हम अपने गाँव वालों के साथ मिले कि भाई आओ हम मिलकर मुश्तरका तौर पर इस काम को करते हैं। तो हम 2003 में पहली मरतबा जब हमने इस बिजली का जो इब्तदा किया है, 2 गाँव में हमने बिजली का इंतज़ाम कर लिया, तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह उसके बाद ये इंतज़ाम शुरू हुआ, जिसकी वजह से काफ़ी सारी तरक्की भी हुई गाँव में अंदर और बहाली भी आई। इस बिजली की वजह से हमारे जंगलात जो ये थोड़े बहुत महफूज हो गए। फिर अच्छे तरीके से जो बच्चे तालीम हासिल नहीं कर सकते थे, जिनके पास वसाइल कुछ भी नहीं थे, अब वो बच्चे आकर अपनी तालीम, मसलन दिन को स्कूल जाते हैं दूर दराज, शाम को जब वापस आते हैं रात 11 बजे तक बैठकर रोशनी का इंतज़ाम है, उसमें अपने स्कूल का वो जो सबक उस्तादों ने रात का काम होमवर्क घर का दिया होता है वो उसको कर लेते हैं, उसमें आसानी हो जाती है, ये दुश्वारी नहीं होती। होते हैं, इसकी ज़रूरियात होती है, और जब आप लोग हमें नहीं, इसलिए हमने ऐसा अपना सिस्टम रखा हुआ है कि हम जो हमारे 3 गांव हैं यहाँ से ऊपर, उनमें हम महीने में 1 मरतबा उनके साथ मीटिंग करते हैं, उन सब मेम्बरान को जमा करते हैं। एक कमेटी बनी हुई है, 6 रुकनी कमेटी है, तो उसमें बाकायदा एक सदर है, जनरल सेक्रेटरी वगैरह, ये सारा पूरा एक सेटअप है। तो जब हम बैठते हैं कि भाई अब इसको हम आगे इसके अंदर कोई बेल्ट की ज़रूरत है, ग्रीस की ज़रूरत है, दीगर जो भी ज़रूरियात हैं, तो उनके साथ हम बैठ कर मीटिंग करते हैं। तो हमको जो चीज़ ज़रूरत पड़ती है कि अब इस पर इतने अखराजात हैं या इसकी नाली जो है वो टूट जाती है, उसके लिए ज़रूरियात पड़ती है, तो हम आपस में बैठ कर कुछ पैसे जमा कर लेते हैं। तकरीबन 16 अगस्त 2022 को जब फ्लड आया तो उस फ्लड में ये सारा कुछ सिस्टम तबाह हो गया था। 2 जनरेटर हमने लगाए हुए थे, 15 kV का वहाँ पर था और 30 kV का इधर था। तो ये वो भी दोनों ख़त्म हो गए, उनका कुछ भी नहीं मिला। ये टर्बाइन थी, इसको तोड़ दिया था। ये पुली नई हमने मंगवाई, ये नलके जो सब थे, ये नया सिस्टम हमने पूरा किया इसका दोबारा। जब ये बिजली आ गई ना तो इसकी वजह से ये हुआ कि जो हमारे मुतल्लिकीन थे उन्होंने गेस्ट हाउस बनाए। जब गेस्ट हाउस बना दिए तो उनके अंदर ये हुआ कि ये जब ये टूरिज़्म आते थे वहाँ पर उनको इंटरनेट और दीगर सहूलियात मैसर होती थी। जब बिजली होती है तो फिर वो सारी सहूलियात उनको मैसर हो जाती हैं। तो इससे ये हो गया खुशहाली होगी। फिर लोगों ने जब टूरिज़्म आना शुरू हो गए तो लोगों ने अपनी जीपें खरीद ली, कुछ लोगों ने अपने घोड़े ले लिए। तो जीपों पर यहाँ से आगे रत्ती गली तक ले जाते हैं। 18 किलोमीटर का फासला जो है वहाँ पर लोग चले जाते हैं। वहाँ से आगे तकरीबन 2 किलोमीटर या 1.5 किलोमीटर है, वहाँ पर घोड़ों के ज़रिए से लोग ऊपर झील पर पहुँच जाते हैं। वहाँ पर रोज़गार मुहैया हो गया लोगों को।
तो इधर 15 साल पहले लाइट आई है, हाइडल पावर। तो इधर अपना हाइडल पावर बनाया। फिर पहले लाइट का बहुत ज़्यादा इशू था, लाइट नहीं थी। हाइडल पावर बने, मिल के सब लोगों ने काम किए, तो अब कोई मसला नहीं है लाइट का। टूरिस्ट वगैरह भी आते हैं तो आसानी से कमाई होती है। हमारे जो मर्द हजरात हैं वो उधर टूरिस्ट उधर होते हैं, गेस्ट हाउस पे होते हैं, तो उधर वो चला रहे हैं। तो घर पे हम खाना बना के ख़वातीन हजरात भेजती हैं उधर खाना, मिल के हम काम करते हैं सारे पे। गुजारा सही है, अच्छी तरह से गुजारे से भी सही है, अच्छा बनता है, सब कुछ निज़ाम सही चलता है।
तकरीबन 11 साल हो गए मुझे यहाँ टूरिज़्म पे काम करते हुए। और जब हम इस वैली में आए थे 20 साल पहले फायर आए, जब हम इस वैली में आए थे तो उस वक्त कुछ भी नहीं था यहाँ। और ये हमने तकरीबन 2005 में ये वैली ओपन हुई थी और उसके बाद 2008 में ये बिल्डिंगें लीज़ पे गई हैं और 2012 में हमने इसको स्टार्ट लिया है। तो उसके बाद हमने काम करते करते माशाल्लाह अभी काफ़ी टूरिज़्म भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है। और उसके बाद अभी काफ़ी लोगों ने गेस्ट हाउस भी बना लिए हैं यहाँ पे। हमारे इलाके में जब जगह कम हो जाती है, गेस्ट हाउस में जगह नहीं होती, तो फिर अपने घरों में भी जो कमरे इजाफी होते हैं उनमें इनको ठहरा देते हैं। जब वो आते हैं उनको देसी खाना हम लोग खिलाते हैं। जब वो लोग खाते हैं ये चीज़ें देसी, वो खुश होते हैं। तो वो अपने तौर पर तोहफे के तौर पर जो है उन लोगों के साथ जो भी अपने घर में रखता है वो ताउन कर लेते हैं।
Nepal marks 19 years since peace deal, but transitional justice remains elusive. Tensions ease in Simara after 2 days of unrest as conflicting sides hold talks. Nepal closes voter registration for the 2026 polls as Commission prepares to publish list on December 6. Nepal's government decides to procure 700,000 e-passports to address the ongoing passport shortage. At least 16 killed due to explosion at glue factory in eastern Pakistan. And Sudhir Pashchim Royals defeats Pokhara Avengers by 18 runs in Nepal Premier League. Hello, I am Ipralaki Singh Lama. This is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 22 hours. Now, the news in detail. It has been 19 years since the government signed a peace deal with the rebel forces to end a decade-long armed conflict in Nepal. The comprehensive peace agreement was signed between the government and then Maoist forces on 21 November 2006 to end the armed conflict that saw thousands of lives lost over the period of 10 years. The peace agreement also paved the way for the then rebel forces, the Maoists, to join the mainstream politics of Nepal. The end of the conflict deal had mainly 3 mandates to complete the Nepal's peace process: adoption of federalism and constitution making, army integration and arms management, and delivering justice to the victims by forming a transitional justice mechanism. Among these, delivering justice to the victims are left undone during these 19 years. The tension in Simara of Bara in southern Nepal following clashes between the Gen Z group and CPN-UML cadres has largely been resolved after recent talks. Earlier, the situation had escalated to the point that a 2-day curfew was imposed by the local administration. Gen Z protesters had accused CPN-UML cadres of assault and demanded action, leading to the police arresting 3 individuals. To resolve the conflict, talks were held today between the Gen Z group and the district administration office with participation from the central Gen Z leaders Sudan Gurung and Shiva Yadav and other local leaders. The agreement included immediate arrest and action against those found guilty, medical treatment for the injured, and fulfillment of 6 other demands put forward by the Jangi group. Following the agreement, planned protests were suspended and transport services were fully restored. Nepal has officially closed voter registration for the upcoming House of Representatives election on March 5, 2026. Hundreds of citizens submitted applications before today's deadline. The Election Commission will publish the updated voter list on December 6, and voters can check the details. Corrections or complaints can be filed December 7 to 17 with eligibility cut off for new voters set at March 4, 2026. Nepal's government is to procure 700,000 e-passports from the existing supply to address the ongoing passport shortage. The decision was made at the cabinet meeting held today at Singhadarbar. Government spokesperson and Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Jagadish Kharel, informed that the cabinet has authorized the Department of Passports to purchase the passports through a variation order with the current supplier. The arrangement will remain in place until new procurement procedures are completed and fresh passports can be issued. The government moved to make this interim purchase after facing shortages following the cancellation of its previous contract with a French company, which is also being considered for interim supply until a new agreement is finalized.
आदेशबाट खरिद गर्न राहदानी विभागलाई स्वीकृति प्रदान गर्ने निर्णय भएको छ। उपभोक्ता अदालत र बाल अदालतको संगठन संरचना तथा दरबन्दी तेरिज स्वीकृत गर्ने निर्णय भएको छ।
An explosion at a glue-making factory in Pakistan has killed at least 16 people and injured 7 after it collapsed the factory and sparked fires in nearby homes. The blast occurred at about 5 a.m. local time on Friday in the Malikpur area of Faisalabad, west of Lahore in Punjab province. Preliminary investigation showed a gas leak inside the factory's chemical warehouse triggered the explosion. Authorities arrested the factory manager but were still searching for the owner, who fled shortly after the incident. Sudarpashchim Royals has beaten Pokhara Avengers by 18 runs in today's match of Nepal Premier League. Sudarpashchim Royals posted 193-7 in 20 overs and defended it, restricting Pokhara Avengers to 175-8 in 20 overs at the TU International Cricket Ground, Kirtipur. Josh Brown starred with 68 off 35 balls, supported by Vinod Bhandari's 43. For Pokhara, only captain Kushal Burtel 53, James Neesam 47 and Dan Southwaite 37 reached double figures. Harmeet Singh took 2 wickets for Sudarpashchim while James Neesam claimed 3 for Pokhara. With this win, Sudarpashchim tops the points table with 4 points while Pokhara remains winless. Karnali Yaks face Lumbini Lions while followed by Kathmandu Gorkhas versus Biratnagar Kings tomorrow. Now, today marks 19 years since Nepal signed the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, ending a decade-long conflict and paving the way for democracy and reconciliation. How has the country changed since that historic day? Dive into our special coverage in our issue of the day after the break. Welcome back. Today marks 19 years since Nepal signed the Comprehensive Peace Agreement on 21 November 2006, ending a decade-long armed conflict with the Maoists. The agreement brought the rebels into mainstream politics and aimed to complete 3 key mandates: adopt federalism and a constitution, integrate and manage the army, and deliver justice to victims. While federalism and army integration were largely achieved, justice for victims remains pending with nearly 80,000 complaints filed. The government formed 2 commissions, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Commission for Investigation of Disappeared Persons, to address this, but many cases are still unresolved. 19 years after the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, Nepal has largely maintained peace despite political turbulence and social challenges. While the deal successfully ended a decade-long armed conflict and integrated former rebels into mainstream politics, delivering justice to victims remains an unfinished chapter in the nation's history toward lasting reconciliation. Virat Anupam looks into it.
On November 21, 2006, Nepal's Maoist rebel and the government inked on the comprehensive settlement of the decade-long armed struggle. The peace agreement also brought the Maoist rebel into the country's mainstream politics. Then Prime Minister of Nepal, Girija Prasad Koirala and Prachanda had inked the historic peace accord under 10 distinct headings. The accord specifically addressed pressing issues of the time that includes ceasefire, end of conflict, human rights, army integrations, and rehabilitation of Maoist combatants, among others. A total of 7 districts, Koilali, Surkhet, Rolpa, Nawalparasi, Chitwan, Sinduli, and Ilam were selected for the cantonments of the Maoist fighters of around 19,000. This was first of its kind peace approach in the world, mainly in addressing Maoist insurgencies.
The message this very peace process of Nepal can give to the world is that even the revolution, even the rebellion can be can end into the peace through the dialogues, and of course in a very unique way.
6 years after the comprehensive peace occurred, 1,463 Maoist fighters were integrated into Nepal Army following the due process. Maoists who are integrated into Nepal Army have also been deployed to the UN peacekeeping mission, setting an example of peacemaking process in the world. Hundreds of thousands of conflict era victims are still waiting for the justice.
पटक पटक निवेदन माग गर्ने टिआरसी अन्तर्गत कहीँ पनि छैन। हामीले गर्यौँ, हामीले तेस्रो पल्ट पायौँ। 79,909 भन्दा बढी छ भनेपछि 80,000 को राउन्ड फिगरमा छ हामीसित। यो 80,000 को राउन्ड फिगर निवेदन भनेको सानो कुराहरू होइन र त्यतिखेरको घटनाहरूको बारेमा हामीले त्यसलाई निवेदन माग्यौँ। यसको मतलब यो होइन कि निवेदन ल्याएर त्यतिकै स्याम्पलिङ गरेर छोड्ने भन्ने हुँदै होइन। यसलाई अनुसन्धान गर्नुपर्छ, उसलाई जानकारी दिनुपर्छ।
Following the comprehensive peace accord, Nepal successfully transitioned former insurgents into mainstream politics, bringing an end to years of armed conflict. As the country marks 19 years since the peace agreement today, Nepal serves as a noble example for other nations dealing with post-conflict integration, illustrating achievement of the political reconciliations and the ongoing challenges for conflict victims. But now it's time for justice. With camera person Rasila Shrestha, Virat Anupam reporting for Public Service Broadcasting, NTV World, Kathmandu.
From breaking news to unforgettable stories, television has shaped the way we see the world. Tune in as we celebrate the magic of the screen today on our cover story after the break. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Welcome back. Today, November 21st, Nepal joins the world in observing World Television Day, a day designated by the United Nations to recognize television's contribution to communication, education, entertainment, and public awareness. The day has been celebrated since 1997, following the first World Television Forum in 1996, to honor the medium's role in delivering impactful messages through both sight and sound. Television's history dates back to the 1930s, with the BBC launching the first regular broadcast in London in 1936, gradually replacing radio as a primary source of information and storytelling. In Nepal, television officially started with the establishment of Nepal Television, NTV, on March 17, 2041 BS, early 1985 AD, with regular broadcasts beginning in 2042 BS, which is 1986 AD. Since then, television in Nepal has played a pivotal role in education, culture, politics, and entertainment, providing viewers with both information and visual storytelling. World Television Day serves as a reminder of TV's continuing impact in connecting communities and shaping public discourse globally. As we mark World Television Day, let's take a look at how many television channels are currently registered and licensed in Nepal, highlighting the country's growing media landscape and the vital role TV plays. Our colleague Vijayta Bhandari comes up with these infographics.
Television continues to play an important role in Nepal, but how many channels are there today? And how has the industry grown? According to the Department of Information and Broadcasting, the television sector continued to expand in 2024-25. 4 new TV licenses were issued this year, bringing the total number of television licenses to 249. And when it comes to regular transmission, the department lists 109 televisions, including 3 new regular TV transmissions added this year. But television today is much broader than traditional broadcasting. In the IPTV category, Internet-based television services, Nepal now has 17 licenses issued so far. For analog cable TV, licenses have reached 853, showing the long-running spread of cable networks in the country. Digital cable, which offers higher quality and more efficient transmission, has 14 licenses issued to date, showing a gradual shift towards digital distribution. In the case of DTH or direct-to-home satellite service, Nepal has issued 3 licenses in total, providing coverage especially where cable infrastructure is difficult or expensive to install. And for digital terrestrial television or DTTV, Nepal has issued 7 licenses so far. DTTV is a key part of the country's longer-term roadmap toward full digital migration. In total, these numbers show a television ecosystem that is no longer limited to a single platform, but one that spans cable, satellite, IPTV, and digital terrestrial broadcasting, shaping how Nepali audiences watch and stay informed.
On World Television Day, we take a look back at the channel that first brought television to Nepal, Nepal Television. Its journey from a single test transmission to a national broadcaster reflects the country's own growth and transformation. Shivani Thaba has this insight.
It began with a vision to connect and prosper a nation through the power of television. In 1986, the first signals of Nepal Television beamed on air as a milestone in Nepali broadcasting. Its mission was simple yet profound, to materialize the slogan of communication for development. As a broadcaster, the mission was also to inform, educate, and entertain the people of Nepal. With every broadcast, NTV became a part of Nepali life. People saw a mirror of their society.
हामी छोटकरीमा आजका प्रमुख राष्ट्रिय तथा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय समाचार प्रस्तुत गर्दैछौँ। आज 2045 साल पौष 19 गते सोमबार, तदनुसार 1989 को जनवरी 2 तारिक हो। अब आजको हाम्रो प्रसारण आरम्भ हुन्छ। आजको प्रसारणमा सर्वप्रथम प्रस्तुत गर्नेछौँ साधना सङ्गम।
It became a storyteller of celebration, struggles and hopes. And as Nepal opened its doors to the world, NTV stepped forward, bringing international perspectives through its English news and English programs. These programs became windows to the world, bridging cultures, voices, and generations.
My name's Milo.
Through the years, NTV evolved, expanding its reach, embracing technology, and shaping a new era of responsible journalism.
As digital media rapidly transforms how we consume content, we ask the public whether television continues to remain significant in this evolving landscape. Let's have a look.
समाचार पनि हेर्छु, मलाई त समाचार साह्रै मन पर्छ। एकदम हेर्छु समाचार, जतिखेर आउँदा पनि जुनमा पनि अहिले चाहिँ धेर जस्तो मोबाइलले हेरिँदो रहेछ। तर पहिला चाहिँ अब मोबाइलमा हुँदैन थियो, टिभी नै हेर्ने, अहिले चाहिँ अब मोबाइलले हेर्ने क्या। मोबाइल भए मजाले सुतेर हेर्न पाइन्छ। अनि एउटै आउँ त भने त्यसमै हेर्छु।
जुन जनताको भावनासँग हैन जोडिएको टिभीहरू जुन हुन्छ त्यो कुरोहरू प्राय गरेर हेर्ने गर्छ। मुख्य गरेर अब समाचार हेरिन्छ। समाचारमा पनि प्राय गरेर अब अलिकति इन्ट्रेस्टेड समाचार भने पुरै हेर्छ, हैन नि हेडलाइन नै हैन हेर्ने। अब मेरो चाहिँ भनौँ न अब
I used to watch televisions in my childhood, mostly cartoon channels or movies, but recently today is the days of social medias. If I had to watch televisions, I think I would watch movies and little bit of podcast, interviews like that.
I don't watch TV much these days because we have a lot of streaming platforms, Nita, and that's why I prefer watching like YouTube or Netflix. But I think my parents watch TVs a lot. They're more frequently into the news channels or movies and such. I prefer watching like English movies and English television series, but also like if there's any Korean dramas or music on, so I'll watch that. in my house. There is no TV at all right now. We have a TV, but we do not have a cable connection right now. So even if I do watch it, I mostly watch the movies that are playing in the TV. It's completely different currently because when I was young, I used to be all the time watching the TV and all, but right now I'm busy with my phone all the time. So that's how it's changed right now.
पहिला चाहिँ नि अब हामी सानो हुँदाखेरि हाम्रो फ्यामिलीहरुसँग बसेर हामी टिभी हेर्थ्यौं, फ्यामिली शोहरु बढी आउँथ्यो, न्यूजहरु बढी हेर्थ्यौं। अब अहिले चाहिँ के छ भने अब त्यो टेलिभिजन हेर्ने उसलाई चाहिँ नि मोबाइलले अलिकति रिप्लेस गर्दिएको हो कि जस्तो लाग्यो। अहिले हेरिन्छ, अहिले नेपालमा विभिन्न चाहिँ नि प्लेटफर्मका प्रोग्रामहरु नयाँ नयाँ आइराछन् जस्तो नेपाल आइडल भयो, भोइस अफ नेपाल भयो, अहिले एनपीएल चलिरहेछ र न्यूजहरु स्पेशली नेपालमा त्यस्तो कुनै किसिमको मुभमेन्टहरु हुँदाखेरि जस्तो हाम्रो अस्ति भदौ 23 र 24 मा चाहिँ नि तपाईको जेनजी मुभमेन्ट भयो, त्यतिखेर हामी न्यूजहरु एकदम बढी नै हेर्ने गर्छौं।
Nepal has closed voter registration for upcoming parliamentary election. Today was the final day for registering names in Nepal's voter list, with hundreds of citizens submitting their applications. The Election Commission of Nepal is preparing for the House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5, 2026. The Commission says the updated voter list will be published on 6th December on the Commission's official website. Citizens have been advised to check their details once the list is released. In case of errors or complaints, voters may file corrections or objections between December 7 to 17. The Commission has also decided that the cut-off date for this purpose is March 4, 2026 for those who will complete 18 years of age by the date. Despite legal provisions in Nepal's constitution for proportional women participation in all state bodies, women continue to face significant challenges in reaching leadership roles, particularly in government areas. The constitution adopted in 2015 guarantees women's representation, yet their presence at decision-making levels remains minimal. For instance, among the 6,743 ward chair positions, only 69 are held by women, which is just over 1%. At the local level, women hold leadership in only 3.3%. Political analysts suggest that informal political networks, which often play a pivotal role in decision-making, are not supportive of women's leadership. While Nepal has seen women hold high office, including as President, Deputy Speaker, Prime Minister, and Chief Justice, experts argue that these positions do not always lead to effective advocacy for women's rights. Experts emphasize that although the number of women in the federal and provincial parliaments has reached 33%, more work is needed to ensure their voices are heard at every level of governance. They call for stronger advocacy and grassroots movements to empower women in decision-making roles. Nepal's electricity authority will invest 3 billion rupees, approximately $21 million to establish a joint venture with India's Power Grid Corporation for the construction of 2 key Nepal-India cross-border transmission lines. The announcement was made by Nepal's Ministry of Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation today. Of the total investment, 1 billion rupees will be allocated to the joint venture registered in Nepal, while 2 billion will be injected into the venture to be established in India as equity. The NEA will fund the investment entirely from its internal financial resources. The joint venture will oversee the development of the Inarua-Purnia transmission line in eastern Nepal and northeastern India, and the Dodara-Bareilly line linking far western Nepal with northern India. These two are strategic cross-border corridors that are vital for expanding regional electricity trade and strengthening energy connectivity between Nepal and India. Now, smart driving licenses printed by the Security Printing Center have been handed over to the Department of Transport Management. The center said the test printing of the QR code-based licenses has been successful. Center's Executive Director Devraj Dungana said 520 units of license were delivered to the department in the first phase. In the second phase, the center has received the details of 1,200 applicants and printing is currently underway in full-fledged. The quality of the printed licenses was tested in a domestic laboratory before delivery. The new cards will use QR codes instead of embedded chips and will feature high-level security measures. Each card will contain up to 3 layers of security technologies and 34 different security features, both visible and invisible, it is said. Moving on, Nepal Pharmaceutical Limited, which currently produces only 11 types of medicines, is preparing to add 9 more products within the next month. Once operating profitably with a portfolio of 140 medicines, the state-owned company has faced financial challenges in recent years due to political interference and weak administrative management, which limited its production to just 11 medicines. According to the management, the company plans to increase its product line to 20 medicines by producing the additional 9 drugs starting next month. The first phase of the 3 months of testing for the new products has been successfully completed, and the company is preparing for a second 6-month testing phase. In Nepal, pharmaceutical manufacturers are required to complete an initial 3-month trial followed by a 6-month trial before commercial productions. We will be looking into developments from around the world. For now, a quick recap of the headlines. Nepal marks 19 years since peace deal, but transitional justice remains elusive. Tensions ease in Samara after 2 days of unrest as conflicted sides hold talks. Nepal closes voter registration for the 2026 polls as Commission prepares to publish list on December 6. Nepal's government decides to procure 700,000 e-passports to address the ongoing passport shortage. At least 16 killed due to explosion at glue factory in eastern Pakistan. And Sudhir Pashchim Royals defeats Pokhara Avengers by 18 runs in Nepal Premier League. An explosion at a glue-making factory in Pakistan has killed at least 16 people and injured 7 after it collapsed the factory and sparked fires in nearby homes. The blast occurred at about 5 a.m. local time on Friday in the Manipur area of Faisalabad, west of Lahore in Punjab province. Preliminary investigation showed a gas leak inside the factory's chemical warehouse triggered the explosion. Authorities arrested the factory manager but were still searching for the owner, who fled shortly after the incident. A powerful earthquake has struck Bangladesh outside the crowded capital of Dhaka, killing at least 3 people according to health officials. The magnitude 5.5 earthquake struck at 10:38 a.m. local time near the city of Narsingdi, about 33 kilometers from Dhaka. The shaking lasted for 26 seconds with its epicenter in Narsingdi's Mahabdi district, according to the Bangladesh Meteorological Department, which recorded the magnitude as 5.7. The earthquake terrified residents, with many in the Muslim majority nation of 170 million people at home on their day off. Relentless rains and floods have killed at least 41 people in central Vietnam since the weekend, while a search continues for 9 still missing. The deluge has submerged more than 52,000 homes and left 500,000 households and businesses without power. Tens of thousands of residents have been evacuated from the flood-affected regions. Rainfall has exceeded 1.5 meters in several areas over the past 3 days, even rising beyond the 1993 flood peak of 5.2 meters in some parts. Extreme weather has battered Vietnam in recent months. 2 typhoons, Kalmegi and Walloy, left a trail of deaths and destruction within weeks for each other. We'll go for another short break here. Coming up next are our updates from business and sports arena. Fatima Bosque of Mexico was crowned Miss Universe 2025 today in Bangkok, making headlines in a pageant as dramatic as it was momentous. The 25-year-old's victory was greeted with cheers and Mexican flags from her supporters. However, her win followed a stormy lead-up. Earlier in November, she walked out of a live-streamed event after Thailand's pageant director, Nov.2025, publicly chastised her and allegedly called her dumb. Several other contestants joined her in solidarity, sparking a walkout that went viral. The controversy deepened when two judges resigned, one accusing the organization of vote rigging and use of an unauthorized jury. Despite the turbulence, Bose used her win to emphasize authenticity and women's voices, saying she hopes to redefine what it means to be Miss Universe. Her resilience has drawn praise, including from Mexico's president, who lauded her courage in speaking out. We'll go for another short break here. Coming up next, our update from business and sports arena. Now time for the sports update, business update.
Japan's cabinet has approved a 21.3 trillion yen stimulus package to help spur the economy through expansionary government spending and to relieve the impact of higher prices. After taking office last month, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi promised to boost government spending despite concerns that such moves will delay progress on trimming Japan's national debt, which is about the triple of its economy. Takaichi told reporters that the package aims to quickly deliver on her promises. The spending package far exceeds those of the pre-COVID-19 pandemic era and is also meant partly to blunt the impact of higher U.S. tariffs on Japanese exports to America under President Donald Trump. Japanese exports to the U.S. fell in October for the seventh straight month, the government said on Friday, though shipments to the rest of the world rose by 3.7%. Afghanistan is scrambling to diversify its trade partners after a deadly border clash with Pakistan last month that brought ties to their lowest point in years, affecting people on both sides of the frontier. The South Asian neighbors have been locked in an increasingly bitter dispute since the Taliban took over Kabul in 2021, with Islamabad accusing Afghanistan of harboring the militants behind cross-border attacks, charges the Taliban government denies. Over the past 6 months, Afghan trade with Iran surged to $1.626 billion, eclipsing the $1.108 billion traded with Pakistan during the same period, according to Commerce Ministry's officials. Afghanistan is also stepping up commerce through Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, signaling a strategic reorientation towards northern corridors as part of a broader effort to build more reliable trade partnerships.
The European Union has moved to scale back its sweeping rules governing artificial intelligence and data privacy in a bid to boost lagging innovation within the bloc. The European Commission's unveiling on Wednesday of what it is calling the Digital Omnibus marked the culmination of a showdown between tech companies aggravated by red tape and privacy advocates fearful of an erosion of digital rights. Under the reform package, the bloc would delay the introduction of stricter risk management and oversight rules for high-risk AI until 2027 and allow tech firms to use anonymized personal data to train AI models. European Union says the changes, which need to be approved by representatives of the 27 EU member states, would boost European competitiveness by simplifying rules about AI, cybersecurity, and data protection. The reforms, which amend the AI Act and several other privacy and tech-related laws, would also cut back on website pop-ups, asking permissions to use cookies, and reduce documentation requirements for small and medium-sized businesses. Chip giant NVIDIA has reported stronger than expected revenues, easing investor concerns about heavy artificial intelligence spending that have unsettled markets. The company said revenues for the 3 months to October jumped 62% to $57 billion US, driven by demand for its chips used in AI data centers. Sales from that division rose 66% to more than $51 billion US. Fourth quarter sales forecast in the range of $65 billion US also topped estimates, sending shares in Nvidia about 4% higher in after-hours trading.
Time for sports update. Sudhir Pashchim Royals claimed an 18-run victory over the Pokhara Avengers in the Nepal Premier League. Season 2 held Friday evening at the TUN International Cricket Ground in Kirtipur. Batting first in the day-night T20 match, Sudhir Pashchim posted a strong total of 193, 7 led by Australian opener Josh Brown's explosive 68 off 35 balls and supported by Vinod Bhandari's 43. In reply, Pokhara reached 175, 8 in their 20 overs with captain Kushal Bhurtal 53, New Zealander James Neesham 47 and Dan Doutwaite 37, offering resistance but losing partners at regular intervals. Sudhir Pashchim's bowling unit delivered a collective effort with Harmeet Singh taking 2 wickets and nearly every other bowler chipping in the one. Earlier, Neesham had also started with the ball for Pokhara, claiming 3 wickets, while Doutwaite and Akash Chand picked up 2 each. The win gave Sudhir Pashchim their second victory in as many matches, putting them on top of the NPL standings with 4 points, while Pokhara remain winless. The league continues Saturday with Karnali Yaks facing Lumbini Lions in the morning fixture, followed by Kathmandu Gorkhas against Biratnagar Kings in the evening match. 42 teams have qualified for the 2026 World Cup so far, with 6 more places up for grabs at next summer's 48-team tournament. Among those who have booked their place already are Curaçao, with the Caribbean island becoming the smallest nation to ever qualify for the World Cup. Curaçao will join holders Argentina and home nations England and Scotland at the tournament, which is taking place across 3 host nations, USA, Canada and Mexico from June 11 to July 19. It will be the biggest yet, with 48 nations taking part, 60 more than in Qatar 2022. There are 6 spots still to be decided, and 4 of those will be taken by European teams via UEFA's playoffs. Wales, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland are all in the running to qualify via this route in March. More on that to come below. The other 2 remaining places at the World Cup will be taken by teams from the other confederations, with Iraq, DR Congo, Bolivia, Jamaica, New Caledonia and Suriname. They will be battling for the chance to qualify via the 2 interconfederation paths. Now the weather details, first from Nepal and then from across the world. Before wrapping up, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nepal marks 19 years since peace deal, but transitional justice remains elusive. Tensions ease in Simara after 2 days of unrest as conflicting sides hold talks. Nepal closes voter registration for the 2026 polls as Commission prepares to publish list on December 6. Nepal's government decides to procure 700,000 e-passports to address the ongoing passport shortage. At least 16 killed due to explosion at glue factory in eastern Pakistan. And Sudar Pastum Royals defeats Pokhara Avengers by 18 runs in Nepal Premier League. That is all for the moment. Do join us through our social media and visit us at nepaltelevision.com for more information and news. I am Ifrula Gisinglama. Thank you for watching. Good night.